Here comes entry number 42, the hot dog hot rod, a full-size soup pot with wheels. That is unsettlingly realistic.
Look at that bros sloshing around. He's basically marinating in his own lunch right now.
Driver's in a suit, tie, pink socks. He looks like he lost a bet and a wedding invite at the same time.
The last time the Alien Enemies Act was invoked, it was used to detain and deport German, Japanese, Italian immigrants during World War XI.
Your child is playing with a yo-yo on Shabbos and the string gets all knotted. Are you allowed to undo the knots to allow your child to keep playing yo-yo? Also, let's say you're trying to tie your shoes and accidentally you tie a double knot instead of making bows. Are you allowed to undo that knot and retie your shoe properly? One of the malachas of Shabbos is the malach of matir, which means undoing a knot. Now, undoing a knot only applies to knots that were made in a permanent way or an expert way, but since these knots were made accidentally, there is no problem to undo the knot in the yo-yo string that was made accidentally or the knot on the shoe that was made accidentally.
He poisoned our water supply, burned our crops, and delivered a plague unto our houses! He did? No, but are we just gonna wait around until he does?
Bobby, we have to choose from the greatest generation of Pokemon, quite frankly. Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle. These are the best Pokemon, Mr. President. I don't know how I'm supposed to choose. Bobby, bashful Bobby. Gotta catch them all, as they say. This should be such an easy choice, quite frankly. I guess I'll go with Charmander. His fire reminds me how my throat feels right now. No, Bobby, you cannot pick Charmander. Why not? You see, he is terrible against Barack and Democrat-type Misty's, Jim. We cannot lose. We only fight. Okay, then what about Squirtle? He kind of sounds like me, to be honest. Squirtle. No, Bobby, you cannot pick him either. He is such a limited move pool. The water is so shallow, quite frankly. And plus, don't you want to get Slowbro or Starmie? I love Starmie. He's like the stars on the great American flag, quite frankly. Looks kind of stupid. He looks like a starfish. And his makeup's even worse. Bobby, if you don't pick Bulbasaur, you're in a world of pain, quite frankly. He is the best one, trust me. But I thought everybody hated Bulbasaur. Are you really not going to pick Bulbasaur and keep the climate humid, as he says, quite frankly? It's true. He's the best starter. Even Professor Bubba agrees. It's the perfect choice, quite frankly.
Our financier says he's the best in the Pokedex. I also have this Pikachu that I definitely did not have relations with.
I don't want your little yellow rat. He's a disgrace to energy. We power our power plants with Zapdos and Helix fossil fuels. God, I love that big bird, that big beautiful bird. Okay, fine. I'll pick Bulbasaur. Okay, then I'll pick a Charmander. What? You said he was the worst one. Yeah, well, you see, Baron says he's the best one, and he's orange like me. So I have to agree in his taste in Skylanders. This is Pokemon, Mr. President. Digimon, Pokemon, whatever, I do not care. Let's go to the polls, or whatever you professors say. Is that a shiny Epstein? Mr. President, you have any idea how rare a shiny Pokemon is, let alone a shiny Epstein? What do I do, Bobby? I'm scared. I thought this Pokemon fainted a long time ago, quite frankly. I thought he was only encounterable on the Seppi Islands. That's the wrong island, Bobby. I would know which island, the greatest island, quite frankly. Well, release the ball already. It's too late, Bobby. What? Why not? I read.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have a distinct amount of pleasure making you all sit through that 3 minutes of nonsense. No music, no. We got Bobby trying to talk, and we've got it's great. It was a great menagerie of memes there. Classic, one could say. Yep. I am glad you enjoyed it all. Wow. No shanties, no music, just pure evil, as 45 Gunner said. Yep. Well, it's Friday night. Okay, it's casual Friday. You think I'm gonna work hard and make you guys a funny intro? No, dude, that's not gonna happen. Why would you think that? Come on. Yeah, that's right. W. Okay, yeah. Yeah. All right. Perfect. Yeah, I know, and I'm also 12 minutes late, but that's because I've been busy all day doing work for everybody and doing everything other than getting this stream ready. But we do have some fun stuff, of course. We did lose a couple legends, unfortunately, on the same day. And we have, of course, a little bit of an update to Iran. Maybe not much. Maybe an F-35 played a little touch butt with an interceptor or something. We're not entirely sure. We have poly marketers being threatened. We have the largest military meme page committing felonies, which is okay. Little oopsie, little crass there. We have OST or not OST, sorry. ONI security approved blasters coming in the form of a Flux chassis that looks like the suppressed SMG from Halo 3 ODST. And we have BNT fighting BNT, which is fun. So BNT USA is no more, or at least it's soon to be no more. And now we've got a collection of fun little rage bait stories, and we're going to end the night. It might be a long one. It might be a long stream because we're going to end the night with a video reaction. Very good video. We might even have to move it over to Rumble, depending on how spicy it is. But that's what's on the docket for today. Before we get to all of that, Richard, how is your night going?
Good. Hope everybody's having a good week. Stream scheduled for tomorrow?
I have no idea what Dozer's talking about. Dozer's on one right now. Yes, this stream is scheduled to tomorrow. Come back tomorrow, 8 p.m. CST. That is when the stream will start. So if you're having issues getting into this one, check back tomorrow. Same time, same place. All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into the news, shall we? Unfortunately, the rumors of his death are not greatly exaggerated. Last night or early this morning, Chuck Norris has passed away at 86 years old. Famous for Texas Walker Ranger and a bunch of other things that he's been a part of, meme culture. Like some of the earliest meme culture was around Chuck Norris, right? I mean, I literally have books at my parents' house of Chuck Norris jokes, you know? Pioneer in a lot of ways, cool old dude, had some cool quotes, and kind of just a pop icon that will be missed because there is a generation of these guys that aren't coming back, and they're not being replaced by anything good in the modern landscape.
Yeah, now, it was a sad day, and I hate to say it, but unfortunately, my running theory is he killed himself because only Chuck Norris could kill Chuck Norris.
Yeah, he didn't get killed. Death got Chuck Norris is how that goes, I'm pretty sure. One of the few people that the Grim Reaper had to ask for his permission to take him, right? Chuck Norris once told a woman to calm down, and she did. Chuck Norris canned his piss and called it Red Bull. That's actually really good. That's true. Ethan Ralph is 12 and dog years. Ethan Ralph is a bit rough, but he's unfortunately not the only legend that we lost today. Unfortunately, it's being reported that the last survivor of the D-Day invasion, Jake Larson, passed away today at 102 years old. There are no more. Speaking of the greatest generation, they are no more D-Day participants alive anymore. It's over. And somehow we still have more and more Holocaust survivors every year. But I digress how that number continues to go up while all of the other surviving members continue to go down. So 2 legends lost today. And it is interesting. We've covered it before, but to listen to these old veterans that fought in these wars and get their take on the modern world that these conflicts that they participated in and how they helped to shape it and what their thoughts on the future are, on the current events are, and see if they believe that it's worth it. And some of them very famously have said, no, it was not. But rest in peace. It was not something that he could know at that point in time. All right. Moving on to some more footage from the Iran-Israel confrontation. This is actually in Jerusalem, in the Old City. And again, Iran has the opportunity to do something really funny by taking down the wall, right? So that I don't know what our politicians are going to kiss over there if they do. Excuse me. But this is in the Old City. You can see it's populated. You can see there's people driving by. Now, I know that not a lot of footage is coming out of Israel or Iran right now, and that's because if you're in Israel, they're going to arrest you. If you do that, there are very heavy fines and penalties for posting footage of explosions, rockets, whatever's going on, because they want to keep that information secret. And in Iran, they turned off the internet. So there's not a lot of ways to get footage out of either of these places, either mechanically it's difficult in Iran, or legally it's difficult or dicey in Israel. So, but here you can see this is a alleged rocket strike in the Old City of Jerusalem. Not sure if, looks like it was basically hitting a parking lot or a park next to a parking lot. I'm not sure what the target was there, but you can see that they are still striking, and there are people driving on the road, which would be a rather disconcerting. And honestly, the only thing that I'm worried about them hitting in Israel is the holy sites, right? Is the places of actual importance. Famously also coming out, I believe this is in Lebanon, and you have a reporter talking about, the situation there and the ground invasion that Israel is currently doing when a munition goes off basically right next to him. I am very shocked that it did not. I mean, I think they're both lucky. Him and the cameraman are lucky to be able to walk at all.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
Perfect timing. Rhetorically defective sent me. Well, they're rhetorically defective. Appreciate you.
Fucking hell.
That was right next to them.
Fuck.
Cameraman theory.
Yeah, cameraman never dies. Never dies.
Where?
Wonder how he can hear anything at all.
Yeah, I mean, but just
further rocket attacks were.
They can hear it a little bit. They're like, something's coming. We should probably not be here anymore.
Further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
Oh. That's right next to them, dude. That's like 30, 40 feet away. Damn.
Well, it looks like
further rocket attacks were reported against Nahariya and admitted.
All right. I'm going to say it. This guy is retarded.
Which one?
Did you not the one in the video? Did you not see the hole in the ground behind him where one rocket had already struck?
Well, right, but usually you think they wouldn't hit the same spot twice. Like you think it would be a miss. Obviously, but that's the point, is to have the destruction in the background of the frame, Richard, right? It's like when they're talking about a hurricane, they're going to put the deepest water in the background, or, get on their knees to make it look like the water is even deeper. That's the point, is to exaggerate or show the actual damage. Like if they just post it up next to a hillside and there's no damage behind them talking about rockets, that doesn't work. You need to show them, okay? And besides, these are frontline journalists. Like, he's wearing the flak jacket. Better him than anybody else, right? I believe that we should be putting these people next to rocket attacks, okay? These people should be next to the bombs to give us the best entertainment possible. That was not... I mean, unless the tank was launching a mortar, that was not a... That was pretty much straight up and down.
Reported against Nahariya and admitted.
Yeah, and I mean, very lucky on their part that they're able to walk away from that. I'm sure that's going to adjust their insides a little bit, but not in the fun way. What? Who said that? Speaking of getting adjusted a little bit, it was widely reported yesterday, 2 days ago, that for the first time ever we had one of our F-35s get hit. Now, not a lot of information has come out. The pilot survived. He was able to make an emergency landing with the F-35, so they did not manage to take one down, but they did force a landing because this is, again, the first time that it's ever been hit. Now, there was a bunch of footage floating around. Let me see if I can find the fake footage. Because, of course, F-35 hit. Because, of course, Iran was posting this as like propaganda. Look what we did to their F-35, blah, blah, blah. But the footage is not real. So if you guys have seen this one floating around, this was posted back in February by the Iranian regime. So this is not real footage, but I mean, it could be some type of what happened, but this is not like the actual event itself, right? Yeah, see, that little 5-second clip has been floating around everywhere, but that's not real. Again, that was originally posted by an Iranian account back in February. So that's not what just happened 1-2 days ago.
That doesn't look real anyway.
I mean, it's really hard to tell with thermal FLIR footage because it's grainy and choppy, and it's all like tracked and stabilized depending on what targeting system they're using. So it makes it easier to fake footage, right? Because the lower quality, the worse it looks, it's easier to fake. But again, that's not real. We don't exactly know what happened. It could have been rocket fire. It could have been small arms fire. We were not exactly sure how it happened. I am curious to hear the details about it. Now, this is all still under hush-hush, of course, because we need to figure out how they were able to target one of our F-35s. If you guys remember back in Bosnia, where we lost to the only 117 Phantom, right? Because one of the bomb bay doors didn't close properly. And so that's what allowed it to have a radar signature that they were able to hit. And that's and that was supposedly invisible at the time. And we were like, how did that happen? They were not supposed to be even able to target us in the first place. So how are they going to launch a missile at us? So I am curious to see what the investigation holds. Maybe this is Russia or Chinese tech that the Iranians are using that is capable of targeting our F-35s, which would be very valuable information for us to have, right? Because we can't obviously just test it against their stuff right now. But if Iran has it, then we can use it as sort of a testing bed for our current gen fighters. So, yeah. Yeah, Iran has hired Serbian missile techs. And again, it's that footage is not real. The footage floating around that everybody's running with, that footage is not real. It's just people using it as propaganda, of course. This is not actually what happened. And we don't even know the extent of the damage. We have not seen any pictures, as far as I'm aware, of the actual place itself, or of the actual plane, of the pilot, nothing, right? We don't know anything about it. We just know that it got hit in some way, shape, or form by Iranian fire, whether that be missiles, small arms, or whatnot, and had to make an emergency landing. The pilot's all right. But again, we just need to figure out how are we actually going to... or how they actually targeted our plane in the first place. Because again, that's not something they should be able to do, allegedly. Now, Trump today, as of, when was this, 4 hours ago, talking to the press outside the White House.
He said the war was militarily won in Iran. What did you mean by that?
Oh, I think we've won. We've knocked out their Navy, their Air Force. We've knocked out their anti-aircraft. We've knocked out everything. We're roaming free. From a military standpoint, all they're doing is clogging up the strait. But from a military standpoint, they're finished.
So how much longer should the...
Now, keep in mind that he is technically correct there. All they're really able to exert power over is the strait. But that's really their only plan, is to exert power over the strait and put financial strain on the U.S. and its allies, right? Japan gets 75% of its oil through the strait. They happen to be a very close ally. South Korea, much the same way. A lot of other East Asian countries get a majority of their oil from the strait. Again, 20% of all of the world's oil comes from the Strait of Hormuz. And as long as Iran can just clog it up and make it scary for certain tankers to get through, then they're not going to do that, right? And that means that the 2,500 to 5,000 Marines that are going to be there in the next couple days, are they going to take Karg Island? Are they going to hold the Strait of Hormuz? Are they, what are they actually going to be put to use? Now, at the same time that Trump is saying we've won, it's over, Of course, ironically, that's when one of our F-35 gets hit, for the first time in history, which is awkward. And then he also announced today a 7 allied coalition, which is a good idea to get everybody in on it that's involved, right? Because it's not just us that has interests in the Strait of Hormuz. So getting everybody involved to some sort of military support in the Strait is good for business. It's a good idea. However, it's also kind of the beginnings of World War III, right? This is actually usually how that starts. A little coalition, a little bit of mission creep. We're just taking the Strait. We're just holding a little bit of Iran. And the next thing you know, you got 100,000 troops on the ground and a draft back home. So this from today, we reported earlier that President Trump has again expressed his extreme frustration at the lack of direct NATO participation in a plan to open up the Strait of Hormuz. He declared the U.S. has militarily won and lambasted lack of allied interest in a simple military maneuver. Again, nobody outside of the people that are critically dependent upon the oil that coming out of the Strait of Hormuz want to risk their own limited navy, their own limited military power in a Israel-started war, right? In an Israel-started altercation. Calling NATO a paper tiger without the U.S., which is true. And so clearly Trump himself is unconvinced after on Thursday, 7 allied nations signed a statement expressing a readiness to contribute to effort to reopen the Strait of Hormuz. The statement included a no pledge to commit warships or any kind of military or even logistical help. So it is literally just a blank piece of paper that says, you know, we believe in you or something. And so it's somewhat of a facade and a pure PR spectacle. Now, the countries are UK, which gets a lot of its liquid natural gas from the Strait, again, which goes to power their everything, basically. France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Japan, and Canada. But again, there's no military role here. We express our readiness to contribute to appropriate efforts to ensure safe passage through the Strait, the close U.S. allies announced. So a bit of a nothing burger, but again, keep in mind, at the same time, Trump is saying we won. At the same time, he's saying it's over. He's trying to make things sound a little better, and maybe that's a lot simpler than we think. Maybe it's just because today the market posted a nearly $1 trillion loss. The Gray Slayer says, hey, where did all that Venezuela oil go? I just know the first batch, the first 1 million barrels went to Israel, okay? Where's the rest of it going? Not entirely sure. But it is important to note that we talk about oil because it's the most easily trackable number, or the most trackable item coming out of the Strait, but it's also fertilizer, liquid natural gas. It's a lot of things that actually come, a lot of raw materials that come out of the Strait, out of the Persian Gulf that we need. So it's not just about oil. While yes, Venezuela can supply a lot of the oil and make up the difference back home, it's not going to fix what's happening in East Asia or in Europe for the most part that also needs a lot of the stuff coming out of the Strait. But yeah, as of today, let me see, I'll pull this one up here. $820 billion were wiped out from the U.S. stock market, which is a big number, okay? $820 billion is a big single day fall. And then $120 billion out of the crypto market. So you combine that, gold is down, silver is down. There's reports of people dropping or delisting houses because they're selling for under asking, which is not a good sign for them. So they're simply going to hold off, delist them until prices go back up, right? But all in all, it is over $1 trillion loss today. And so this is probably why Trump is trying to signal some sort of positive movement. There's conflicting reports coming out every day, every hour about Trump saying he's looking for an off-ramp, about Trump saying we've won, and then at the same time saying that, but we're about to secure the Strait, but we're about to, decisively win militarily, So there's just 24/7 news cycle of conflicting nonsense information kind of flooding the zone with junk data, so to speak. But the thing that is not junk data is that, yes, the stock market is way down. Yes, the crypto market is way down, and there is fear and uncertainty, which is going to cause most things to collapse a little bit of tenuous investments at best because of what's going on right there. Gas prices today back up to just under $100 a barrel. They did briefly drop in the low 90s. Now they're back at almost 100. Again, still away from the peak, but they are moving in an upward trend. And again, the longer the strait remains closed, the longer we are involved over there, the higher prices will go, the better it is for Russia. So Russia's actually very happy to sit back because, again, it doesn't affect them at all because Iran is allowing Russian and Chinese vessels to continue their passage unopposed, which is great for them. Meanwhile, everybody else is hurting, which means that Russia is another player in the oil industry. And the higher the gas price, the better it is for their economy. And so they are quite happy to sit back and do nothing and reap the benefits of American interventionism based off of our quote-unquote allyship with Israel. Now, speaking of Israel real fast, Benjamin Netanyahu, whether he's alive or not, that's still up for debate. If I had to guess, I would say probably, not sure what's up with the weird videos and the editing and the disappearances and all that. Your best gets, nothing's off the table, okay? So if you want to take the conspiratorial, he's actually replaced with an AI robot, or he is dead and they're just using a doppelganger plus AI to keep up appearances until the next election cycle, whatever you want to call it, I believe you, okay? Nothing is off the table anymore. But he did say some interesting things about our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, saying Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you're strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Huh. What a weird thing to say, Mr. Netanyahu. But I do want to say that Christ is king and resurrected, right? Very famous event that happened, in a historical event, right? Whereas Genghis Khan is dead and buried. So there's jot that down while you're at it, Mr. Netanyahu.
Also wrote The Lessons of History, very brief, 100-page book, in which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because
our greatest ally, by the way, anytime they say Judeo-Christian, just ignore them. Just ignore them. Nothing good is going to come after that. Nothing at all. Just ignore it. Just ignore it.
Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good. Aggression will overcome moderation. So you have no choice. If you look at the world as it is today, you have to be blind not to see that the democracies led by the United States have to reassert their will to defend themselves.
Now, I agree. I agree, Mr. Netanyahu. We do. The West does need to reassert their will. All right. But I think we have vastly different ways of going about that.
And to oppose their enemies in time while there's still time.
Based?
Before the jarring gong of danger wakes them up and wakes them up too late. This is where we are now. The fact that people don't see that, the fact that a lot of the news media are harking on a lot of fake news, but also a lot of short-sightedness, and do not see the historic.
Israel is the body of Christ, not the nation. No, I mean, he means like spiritual Israel, right? Because we are spiritual sons of Abraham. We are the fulfillment of that, being Christians, right? Being the church, not the nation, not the 1948 nation, right? Because people have the word concept fallacy. And this goes back to Nicholas Darby and the Schofield Bible and a lot of the people coming out of that school of thought, which is really just American evangelical Zionism, which is heretical. I do want to be clear that that is not traditional Christianity. That's not traditional Protestantism. That's not traditional Catholic or Orthodox position, nothing like that at all. There is no church father that believes that there's some sort of future state of Jewish people that is the fulfillment of old-time prophecies. Not that there's not something that might happen in the future with the actual Jewish people, but that the 1948 state of Israel is not what Israel means in a biblical Christian context, right? Because if I said, look at this, my wallet, this is Israel, therefore, like, if you bless my wallet, you'll be blessed. And if you curse my wallet, you'll be cursed, right? You'd be like, well, John, that's not correct. And that's what the 1948 state of Israel is, just nothing. It's meaningless. It
You
has
better
nothing
put
to
that
do
wallet
with.
away. BB was eyeing it a little too hard there.
Yeah, BB got a hard on under there for it.
Period in the historic struggle that we are engaged in now doesn't obviate these truths.
I bless Mr. Chipswall. Yes, you do, Mr. Unbidden Blitz. I appreciate you. But you know, it's sometimes your enemy makes a great point, okay? And he's right. The West does need to wake up. It does need to reassert its will before it's too late. Now, speaking of just interesting people sometimes, so we had Joe Kent leave the administration 2 days ago now. 3 days ago now? 3 days ago now. Due to his disagreements over the starting of the Iran war. And he's been called everything under the book. Mr. Alan Dershowitz, very famous Jewish lawyer, and also has defended some of the worst, just very interesting people that he tends to work with. Neo-Nazi, citation needed, Jew-hating, Israel basher, quits administration, good riddance to bad garbage. And then somebody, of course, just quotes, he's like, this you with your bro. You know, listen, if you're going to say that being against the war in Iran makes you anti-Semitic, fair enough. You know, okay. I'll accept your terms there. If you're saying being against the Epstein class pedophiles, who just happen to have funny names, and that's anti-Semitic, all right, fair enough. Cool. I accept your terms. And I accept all the rest. I grant you everything you just said. Now tell me how that's bad or wrong. Now, a very interesting story also coming out of this is a bit of betting making everything worse and infecting every area of our lives to the point where people are making threats to news reporters for monetary gains. Now, that as a concept is old, right? Because if you control what's reported, what's not, that gives you the power to manipulate stocks, to, schedule your buys, do all this other sort of stuff when it comes to the stock market or real estate or all of these things. If you can control reporting in some way, you can make that very advantageous for you and your friends. Now, with the advent of gambling on literally everything, whether it's sports gambling, which is a huge sector of the U.S. economy, the U.S. economy is basically porn, AI, and betting. That's the American economy. So, when other people call us the great evil, and it's like, well, those are the three pillars. You got the Antichrist, or the Antichrist. So, I mean, not really a fan of either of those options propping up our economy at the moment. But Polymarket bettors tried to make a reporter change his story about the Iran missile strike or else. So people taking bets on the war are upset at certain reporting because it would negatively affect their bets. And so they are threatening reporters now. Great. Congratulations. What a world we live in. The prediction market, Polymarket, has a few guardrails on what people can bet on. An Israeli journalist said Polymarket users tried to bribe and threaten him into changing a story. The $9 billion company condemned the threats and said it removed accounts linked to them. An Israeli journalist said, and again, who do you trust here? Israeli journalists or bettors? Take your pick. You don't have to believe anybody in this situation. An Israeli journalist said Polymarket users tried to bribe him and threatened to kill him after he reported that an Iranian missile had struck Israel earlier this month. Polymarket later condemned the harassment and said the conduct violated its rules. We've banned the accounts for all involved and will pass their info on to the relevant authorities. Emmanuel Fabian, great last name, by the way, a military correspondent for the Times of Israel, wrote this week that the harassment began with the emails pressing him to revise a blog post saying a missile hit an area roughly 500 meters from homes in Beit Shemesh, a small city in central Israel. The initial outreach, written in Hebrew, was polite. Fabian wrote, regarding your Times of Israel report that described today's launch as an impact. Beit Shemesh Municipality and MDA later corrected their reports to clarify that what fell was an interceptor fragment, not a full missile, the first email said, referring to an Israeli emergency response service. Follow-up messages from others were more insistent. I have an urgent request regarding the accuracy of your report on the missile attack on March 10th. I would really appreciate a response if possible. Fabian wrote that he stood by the reporting, citing Israeli military information and a video of a large explosion that, in his view, was inconsistent with interceptor debris. What followed, what he said, was a pressure campaign that spilled across email, X, Discord, WhatsApp, and back-channel outreach through another journalist. Fabian described repeated requests to change the wording of his report, which he believed was intended to influence the resolution of a polymarket tied to whether Iran struck Israel on that date. He said the messages, which didn't explicitly mention polymarket, but came from polymarket users or seemed bizarrely hung upon his blog post, escalated into explicit threats. So again, early stages of the war, there were messages about, bets about when is the first missile going to fall in Israel? Where is it going to fall, right? So you can take the yes or no position. That's how the betting works. And so if you took, let's say, the no position or the any other date position about when the first missile is actually going to land in Israel, you're going to defend that to the teeth, right? Especially as allegedly one of these people put down a $900,000 bet about, I believe, the date of the first missile to fall in Israel, right? So he's desperately trying to get this reported to change his story that it was an interceptor and not an Iranian missile. Advocates for prediction markets have said they encourage honesty by requiring users to put their money where their mouth is. Shaylin Copeland, also funny name. Polymarket's founder has said that people in the Middle East can use military strike markets to decide whether they want to sleep near a bomb shelter. The nitty-gritty details of contracts and how they are resolved can lead to contentious arguments. People on Polymarket who wagered on whether Iran would strike Israel by March 10th still haven't gotten paid, as the contract appears to remain in dispute. Polymarket, which is legally based in Panama, of course, uses complex crypto-based processes to resolve disagreements. Fabian isn't the first person to say that they were targeted by the prediction market users. The NCAA has cited concerns with prediction markets, reporting that 36% of Division I's men basketball players said they'd been harassed by someone with a betting interest. Yes, we got rid of the underground betting, the mob betting, to just make it all above ground and legal. And congratulations, we just have the mob again, just operating in broad daylight too.
Would you say that we forced the betting out of the tunnels?
Yeah, we out of the tunnels and into the light, ? So yeah, now everybody's just getting through, because now you can bet on anything, okay? Anything, anytime. You could probably bet on whether or not the stream is going to be on time. Always bet no, by the way. And then somebody's going to call me and be like, John, I placed $1 million bet for you to be on time today. If you're not on time today, I'm going to break your legs. Right? See, that's how it would work. All right. Well, let's move on from the modern stuff, okay? Let's get into a bit of military drama now. Internal military drama, degenerate drama. We're moving from gambling to NSFW. Before we do, though, Zanico42 says, Richard, one word, noble. You know what I mean. All right, is that your activation code? Password, noble. All patriots, go. Thank you, Zany. Amrai Boy for 2 says, late and gayer than the Swiss for taking Norma from us. I was just shooting some Norma golden target. Great ammo, very consistent. Put up a fantastic group out of the Mark 1 yesterday. Thank you, Amrai Boy. Amrai Boy for another 2 says, burnouts for Dale, bar altercations for Chuck. That's right. Thank you, Amrai Boy, appreciate it. Parquet for 5 says, credit card hacked. I suspect Ko-Fi, but it's probably just bad luck. Ew, I hope not. I certainly hope nobody else on Ko-Fi gets hit in any way. That would be rough. Thank you, Charkay, though. Appreciate it. Good luck on getting that back. Usually credit card companies are pretty good about being hacked, though. Chud for 2 says, we should replace this intro with the incredibly gassy vid. Now, that's cringe. Cringe and degenerate, Chud, but thank you. Lon Harichi for 5 says, Trench and Garantham have jumped the shark and are officially a couple. They're interesting.
You little bad boy. You got a lot of explaining to do.
That's after they get back from the range. Thank you, Lon. Rad's Arms for 10 says, so B&T letter mentions Sean Sullivan. I believe that may be the same guy that was importing illegal machine guns for Vickers. It is. Yes, I was watching... I forget the lady's channel, but I watched her video breakdown of the situation between B&T and B&T. And yeah, Sean Sullivan is once again involved. So yeah, be prepared. Lon for 5 says Grand Thumb and Trench doing a YouTube collab is the new Holocaust. New Holocaust? What was the first one? Thank you, Lon. Lon for 5 says the reporter in Lebanon was an RT reporter. No loss there. I mean, you could have told me it was for anybody, and I would have said no loss there, dude. Thank you, Lon. Appreciate it. Lena Mitchell for 5 says, why would these journalists go to the fight place to talk about the fight? Love you, Richard. Yeah. Chud for 2 says, Richard, hate in the big 2-6. Richard, Mog, Gassy. Thank you, Chud. Appreciate it. Amorite Boy for 2 says, won't be looking at my 401k for a while. Yeah, I cashed out of my 401k. I don't have any of that nonsense. Luke Singer for 10 says, time to game with focus on the second monitor. Also, what Plan B hub mount should I spend too much money on? Wolfpack Armory, Reardon Atlas Gen 2. I'm sure there's other good ones out there, but those are the 2 that I would use. But thank you, Luke. Hope you're having a good time gaming right now, probably in the middle of a hell dive, getting molested by bots. Matt Danka says, John was so late because Richard had a Poly Market bet on it. Yeah, that's the thing. I got threatened. I had to be late. Polly B over on Ko-Fi for 10 says, yo, John, I sent some people your way. They're good people. The best people, not Trump's people, but our people. Everyone agrees with me. Thank you, Polly B. Appreciate that. Very based. I will be sure to handle them appropriately. All right. Well, now let's get into military, e-boy, drama, federal crimes. Great work by Nut in Rags, or also known as Not in Regs. Now, I'm not familiar with military brovet culture, only what spills over into GunTube. The rest of it, I could very much take it or leave it. I'm not particularly interested. However, this account is the big one. I think this is the biggest meme page or, brovet page on the market. And they have over 500,000 followers, which is pretty damn big. They have a public Discord that you can get into, and then they have a private section of the Discord that is not safe for work, that you have to pay to get into, and they share, allegedly, sexually explicit content without the other individual's consent in there. Now, I know consent is like a gay, modern, feministic term, but I'm just saying, like, they take sensitive images from private places and post them in a place for money, which is it's felony. So that's a problem.
What's going on, guys? Monk here with more of a informative kind of video.
Oh, Eli from Unsub shills them or owns it. Does he really? I mean, isn't Eli's wife thing an OnlyFans model? I don't know what you would call them. Whore would be the technical term, I guess.
I don't know if his wife
Eli's the one with an OnlyFans. I get them all confused. Okay, one of them has an OnlyFans person in their life for whatever reason, like cringe.
It may be Eli, but I know Donut's prior girlfriend wanted to start an OnlyFans, and I think they broke up over that.
Huh. I'm not going to ask you how you know that Donut's ex-wife has an OnlyFans, Dio.
Going over the recent events of the past few weeks, especially pertaining to Not in Regs, the posts we've been making with Not in Regs, and what all has unfolded. I believe you guys deserve a video from me, the horse's mouth, and as well as, in a sense, representing everybody else that's been collaborating with this on what exactly has been going on. Over the past few weeks, we have uncovered what we consider Marines United 2.0 in the non-regs Discord server and the NSFW Not Safe for Work channel, covered by a $5 a week paywall ran by Ryan Shipper, also known as Not in Regs. We have
so $5 a week to stay in the explicit channel that takes unconsensual nude images, videos, whatever sort of other material from people that they just post in there, which is Is that revenge porn, which is illegal in a lot of places now? What's the? I'm sure there's a bunch of laws on the books regarding this sort of stuff, and especially the fact that they're selling it too. They are essentially selling it.
Evidence of this. I know that you guys want to see it. I know you guys don't want to believe it until you see it. But the unfortunate reality is we cannot give you evidence from that server. We would be committing an equal crime as Ryan has, which would be the commercial distribution of intimate images, which is a federal crime. Very severe. To start out with this, we're going to be going over from start to finish. I wouldn't even say finish because it is still going. All right. So if you want to tag along, if you want to speed it up, just do whatever it takes. All right. Start. All clear gear situation. Outside perspective. Wow. Non-regs. Not a good look, dude. Advocating for helping out small businesses, not being about what you preach. All right. That's what caught our attention initially. All right. Reached out to All Clear Gear, got his end of the story, started like figuring out, started looking around, like, wow. Found some other creatives, similar stories from All Clear Gear. This video is not geared towards Ryan taking advantage of small.
Yeah, his voice does sound, as somebody said, like Squidward on helium. Yes, it's true. I don't know if that's his natural voice or if it was whoever sped up the original video, because I believe it's slightly sped up from the original video, which makes it even worse. If it's OF stuff, I don't think it's illegal, but you can be sued. Well, the allegation is not that it's just somebody put up OnlyFans material and then it's being shared to a Discord server. Because, yeah, that would not be illegal. But if it is private images sent between, like, boyfriend, girlfriend, or whatnot, and then boyfriend goes and posts it up without her knowledge or consent, or, you know, whatever situation you can think of in your mind, and posts it into a NSFW channel, knowingly, that is behind a paywall, right? So you're paying for people's sexual material that they are not selling, right?
Businesses. Getting that straight. This is not a video about that.
Jake, you can't. I don't know why you jump to your own feet or girls' feet. That's the first thing that pops to your mind is girls' feet. You're not beating the allegations anytime soon, dude. You're like, oh, nude images? They're probably reposting feet in there. Probably feet pics in there.
Sorry.
Continue later down the line. We got anonymous tips from multiple individuals stating his Discord server, not in Regs' Discord server, specifically behind the NSFW paywall, has some pretty severe stuff, and we want to see for ourselves. After getting this anonymous tip, myself and a few other people investigated the server. We looked. We saw what people told us was there. Marines United 2.0 is what we are calling it. There is commercial distribution of private, intimate images and videos, clearly of people unaware of them being filmed, of them being screenshotted, guys bragging about it in the text chat. We have it recorded.
Yeah, so people bragging about putting non-consensual sexual material on a paywall Discord problem, and that is commercial distribution of intimate material is a felony in places like Texas. So depending on where these people are, just looking it up, it can actually be a very serious crime. But it's going to depend state to state. We're in the clear. I'm not a part of this Discord server. I don't know what you're a part of, Richard.
No, for playing Jake's feet pics for money.
Well, that's consensual. Right. I mean, he consented to it. I mean, he did that.
Brian continues to deny. He locked down his server. He's not letting anybody join his private Discord server currently, as of today, whatever day it is, March 19th, 2026. Sorry, way past January. He denies accusations in public in the comment section, and if you mention his comment section in his videos, he will personally DM you and address that they are false. I am here to tell you they are not false. I've seen with my own eyes, as well as multiple other people that have done the looking in his server.
We've consulted the images. We've done our own. We had our own personal goon inspection squad to certify that the materials were indeed unconsensually shared. And yeah, we sent in the goon squad and they got the info.
over the past few weeks, we have taken upon ourselves, because upon further research, for several years, people have known about this and have not spoken up on it, have not bothered to call out non-regs. Small accounts have. And this isn't me jabbing at bigger accounts. I get it. They don't want to take the risk. They don't want it to be false and them screw over their fucking accounts. But myself and everybody else that has seen it for ourselves, we're not letting go. Sorry, dude. Sorry, not sorry. Fuck you, Ryan. You're fucked. Like, I'm calling it how I see it. Marines United 2.0. Non-consensual images.
Anyways, that is the gist of it. This is worse than the intro. You're right. Where's the fun and games? Where's the laughter? Where's the pointing and all the other silly stuff that goes on? But that is, again, not in regs, one of the biggest brovet meme culture channels, being secret degenerates. I'm going to be honest with you guys. Like, everybody in the gun space, all the brovets, it's all just degenerate monsters taking your money and not caring about you at all. Like, that's the entire thing. That's the entire thing. And I mean, you might as well call it out anytime you see it. Okay, you'd have if you just blanketly applied that to all of them, you'd be right like 97% of the time. Okay, if you were gonna create a poly market account and bet like, oh, this person's actually just a terrible person and a degenerate, you'd be right. You would be right. Okay, now how about something a little more fun? And this is from Tom Venable. All right, so they have come out with a bit of an update to the Flux Raider chassis, which is unfortunately, I know, for a P320 with one foot in the grave. But if you wanted your Flux Raider, your 320, to look like the suppressed SMG from Halo 3 ODST, well, they have the capability now. So convert your Flux Raider into Halo's iconic M7 SMG. The first production run is limited to 20 units, available now, link in bio. Update, we sold out within minutes, but back orders have been enabled. So here's a better look at the chassis itself. And it does have a bit of like the vibe to it. You know, unfortunately, it is a P320 chassis though. So take, you know, good luck with that. You're taking your life and your wallet in your own hands. And yeah, that's the thing. It's like, this is totally second kind of cool, okay? Totally second kind of cool. If you're thinking, oh, I'm going to use this for some sort of serious CQB operator, LARPerator, PDW application, like, it's not really that thing, guys. It's just really not. You could save all of that time and money and size and weight, and you could just be decent with a handgun, and you could get like 97.5% of the same capability out of it. Like, it's really not that much. It's really not that much better. And especially when you consider the fact that it doesn't hold zero and it shoots like garbage and the ergonomics are like mediocre, you know. Looks silly. I mean, it's going to be expensive, right? That's the thing. It's going to be expensive. AF. This is being used by Delta CAG Daily in Tehran. Yeah, unfortunately, they haven't been deployed yet. They're going to be sending all of the Battlefield 3 veterans in like 3 days, if I had to guess. Maybe even tonight. Trump is usually doing things on a Friday night, so maybe it's tonight if they're already in the AO. Maybe they are going to take Karg Island tonight. You never know, or it could be next week, right? But that's where they're going to send all the Battlefield 3 veterans, which is one step above Delta CAG, is the Battlefield 3 veterans on Karg Island, which is funny because there are literally going to be some people on Karg Island who will have grown up playing Battlefield 3 and be like, oh, wow, this looks surprisingly familiar. That's right. All right, well, let's move on. Let's talk about a little bit of B&T drama. Now, there's a lot of information floating out there about this. There were some people saying, no, this is actually fake. No, they're fine. This isn't real. Nothing ever happens, yada, yada, yada. B&T USA has been having a lot of problems meeting deadlines, launching products, delivering products. Customer service has been horrible. I think you can go into even Brassfack's video of late, documenting his issues with B&T, their warranty, their products. so on and so forth. Their quality control has been bad. Their customer service has been bad. Delivering products has been bad. So on and so forth. And so much so that they've even been accused of some other untoward behaviors. And now they are being sued by B&T AG, which is like the parent company that started everything, and then they license it out to their USA-based company that they're like kind of affiliated with. That's usually how these things work, right? And so you can see, if I can pull this up right here, trust nobody, not even yourself. And that's because B&T USA LLC versus B&T AG. And you can see the plaintiff, B&T USA, defendants, B&T AG, Karl Brugger, which is, of course, the Brugger of B&T. Now, getting into this letter a little bit posted by us for James. Thank you very much, Mr. Reeves. B&T USA LLC via Federal Express, February 19, 2026. Termination of license agreement between B&T AG and a Swiss company, B&T AG, and B&T USA LLC, Florida Limited Liability Company, dated as of January 1st, 2016. Dear Mr. Sullivan, which again is the same gentleman who was involved in the Larry Vickers drama, who was part of getting him machine guns on forged demo letters that never ended up being part of demos and ended up almost, landing Larry Vickers in prison. Same dude. You'll see a lot of these people go around in the same circles, causing problems over and over and over and over again. It's like politicians. Okay, they just keep getting recycled. B&T USA LLC currently uses the intellectual property rights owned by B&T AG and distributes products of B&T AG on the basis of the license agreement with the effective date January 1st, 2016. Article 10 of the license agreement provides for a 90-day cure period in case of a first payment default and for a 30-day cure period for each further late payment. Since at least the second half of 2023, oh dear, of course, Trump slump is in full effect. Well, actually, no. Sales were still high in 2023. Think it back. Sales were still pretty good in 2023. So what is this guy's problem? If you're not making money in 2020 to 2024, late 2023, like you're doing something wrong. Since at least the second half of 2023, B&T USA LLC has constantly defaulted by failing to meet its payment obligations and has received many reminders specifying the due date of each invoice. Amongst others, such reminders were sent January 8th, February 28th, March 31st, December 16th, January 20th. So you can see it just continuing over and over again. Please pay us the money that we're owed according to our agreement. Furthermore, a formal subsequent demand for payment was sent on November 24th, 2025 by mail. As a consequence, all cure periods provided for under the license agreement have expired, and B&T AG has the right, pursuant to Article 10 of the license agreement, to terminate the license agreement, and so does terminate the license agreement with immediate effect. So you're done. You're not paying us. You're not holding up your end of the bargain because, of course, you get to sell our products. You get to use our license. You get to, have our logo, all of this stuff that we're giving you in return for, X amount of profits or sales or whatever it happens to be. You're not doing that. You're in default of our agreement. You're done. So B&T USA is done. In addition, in a lengthy WhatsApp call on January 12th, I love that these international calls are all handled on WhatsApp. On January 12th, 2026, right before SHOT Show, right? 8 days before SHOT Show. As well as during a meeting on January 2026, which is just after SHOT Show, Mr. Karl Brugger explicitly made Mr. Sullivan aware of the very substantial unpaid invoices and demanded payment. Since then, Mr. Brugger has repeatedly requested payment and even made several alternative settlement proposals, some of which contained generous payment terms. However, all of such proposals were rejected by Mr. Sullivan, and then rejected again by the letter of Wiley Rain, LLP, dated February 17, 2026. As such, all offers to compromise are hereby rescinded and withdrawn. As a consequence of the failure to cure the long-standing payment defaults by B&T USA LLC and the rejection of all proposals on how such payment defaults could be cured, B&T AG hereby exercises its right pursuant to Article 10 of the license agreement to terminate the license agreement with immediate effect. And then it continues, blah, blah, blah. Basically, furthermore, from the receipt hereof, B&T USA LLC is prohibited from using any intellectual property belonging to B&T AG pursuant to Article 5 of the license agreement. B&T AG is the exclusive owner of all intellectual property rights of products developed by B&T AG or jointly developed by B&T AG and B&T USA LLC. The intellectual property rights in products exclusively developed by those are also required. So this means that even anything that B&T USA made and designed for the B&T products, just due to their operating agreement and their being in default of it, they have to transfer those rights to B&T AG. Good for them. So, long and short of it, B&T USA LLC is done. So where does that leave you if you own a B&T product? Well, allegedly, there's going to be a little bit of a blackout zone, a little bit of a lost in service, if you will, over the next few weeks. However, they are working on getting other people spun up to handle customer service, to handle your warranty, to handle XYZ, all of the normal things that you would imagine. So I would guarantee you B&T is not done within the United States because they make a lot of stuff, okay? They're like, I heard somebody today call them the Keltec of Europe. They make a lot of different items, some of them cool, some of them not so cool. They are certainly still going to be importing to the USA, but they are going to be looking for a different partner. So all that means is that while B&T USA is done, it's just going to be somebody else handling it from now on. Yeah. Oh no, we'll no longer have Keltec quality products at premium prices. Well, that's the thing. You're still going to have the stuff, okay? Because they're importing lots of everything, okay? And you're going to have B&T AG, you know, the big company. You're going to have them license out their IP to some other manufacturing company in the US. Rumor is it's PSA. I hope not, man. Although they already do have some co-branded items with PSA, don't they? Don't they? They do have co-branded items with PSA because their Sabre line of cans is co-made with B&T. Oh no. You always said John doesn't know. What don't I know? What don't I know, Jake? No more Swiss imports at all? What do you... Yeah, I'm sure that Switzerland doesn't want to make any money, I'm sure. B&T is licensed with Hodge? I don't know, dude. Swiss import ban? Well, if there's a Swiss import ban, then there's an import ban. But again, that doesn't... it's not just about the imports, though, right, Jake? Because B&T USA uses their IP to manufacture things domestically, like suppressors and a bunch of other items. So even if that were true, Jake, even if there was a complete import ban, they would still want to have somebody operating in the US licensing their IP to make money off of it, right? So have some, you know, one of the big printer companies print their suppressors and have it licensed as a B&T can, made to B&T specs that they could sell in the US. And again, they're not importing anything, if that makes sense. All right. Well, and then you have a letter from Mr. Brugger himself, also posted by James. Thank you very much. A page from B&T's AG's monthly newsletter that they send to the industry partners. Carl Brugger usually includes a personal note on the last page of the newsletter. So this is from today, I want to say. Unfortunately, I had to spend quite some time, and this is Carl Brugger, the founder, owner of B&T AG. So this is him, the big guy. You've seen him in videos with TFB TV and with a bunch of classic firearms and a few other people. He does interviews with people, right? Unfortunately, I had to spend quite some time with lawyers in the last months. Many of you, our friends and partners, have heard about what is going on between B&T USA and B&T in Switzerland. The news has started to leak out last night via some public court documents, and in the meantime, various social media sites have exploded about the situation. The case is in the hands of the lawyers in the US and Switzerland, and they have all advised the same thing, and that is to not make any comments about the litigation. We will follow the advice of our solicitors. Believe us when we say there is a lot we can say, but we won't. B&T AG has terminated the license agreement with B&T USA and LLC. This decision follows B&T USA LLC's failure to settle outstanding invoices for products previously delivered. Simply put, the US owes Switzerland lots of money, and we are revoking the license to sell or produce anything under the name B&T. This was a very tough decision for us. but business is business. So B&T USA as an entity still exists, and they have stock on hand, I would guess, but they aren't able to ship anything, at least legally. So now stuff at distributors, right? If there's still B&T products in stock in, your local gun store, your local distributor, whatever it might be, you can still go and buy those. But legally, B&T USA is not allowed to sell them. So I'm curious how that's going to affect any stock that they might have. Please do not call us asking for details or to get the inside story, because there is nothing to say from our side. Please respect the process if you wish. You can follow what is happening just by checking various social media accounts or Reddit. Go to Reddit. That's L take there. We have no control of what happens on these outlets, and who knows how true anything will be. Never underestimate how quickly rumors can travel in our own industry. The legal processes will take time to play out. These things, however, never happen quickly. Finally, we are very sorry for the situation. B&T AG remains committed to serving its customers. There are many customers who feel let down by B&T USA, and we understand and are working every day to get everything worked out from Switzerland, but please remember, we are as much of a victim as anyone. I wish you restful and peaceful Easter holidays. Yeah. All right. So that is the B&T drama. Not all that much. It's USA is done. Is anybody in the chat right now? Are they a big B&T fan? I don't even know if I know any B&T fans. Like the APC 9, I know Andrew has one and he likes it okay. I've heard not a lot of great things. The APC 223 is a hyper expensive rifle that does not feel hyper expensive. No, never was a fan of B&T. They have some things that look nice, the USW system, right? The Glock chassis. Anybody in there? Okay. Yeah, I don't think a lot of you guys are going to be negatively affected by the loss of B&T USA.
I think the person who's going to take the biggest impact here is going to be James Reeves.
Maybe, but also he's just gonna, it's good for him because it's more content. Like when he goes and does another interview with him, with Carl Brugger, or if, the new company that they launch in the US or that they licensed their IP to, it's more content. So I don't know why it would be bad for him. If you own a lot of stuff and shoot a lot of B&T, it's going to be bad for you because, of course, the warranty service is going to be like, what warranty service? There's no B&T USA anymore. So good luck getting spare parts, I guess. But again, I don't know how many B&T shooters, again, other than somebody like Brassfax, who's dumb enough to put cases and cases and cases of ammo through something that just objectively sucks. Oni Actual says, I had a GHM 9, didn't care for it, and sold it within a week. I have a Rotex can. It's decent. Yeah, again, the cans I've heard okay things from, and it's funny, is B&T USA the one that's getting sued by Surefire, or is it B&T AG that's getting sued by Surefire?
Oh, I don't know.
I forget which one that is, because I know Surefire is also in litigation. If it is USA, then yeah, they're also getting sued by Surefire right now for infringing on their suppressor lockup mounting design. So yeah, good luck to anybody out there who had an APC or any of their rifles or pistols, really.
Chat
good luck with that. AG, B&T AG. Yeah, okay, so that's with them personally. Either way, it's just everybody suing everybody, okay? And the only thing exciting to me about B&T cans was that they sometimes went on sale for like 500, or like 600, which is like not a particularly expensive 3D printed can. And so it's like, oh, well, that's at least an attractive price, How many times did Brass have his suppressor die? Was it 2 times that he had that suppressor detonate? Just through normal firing, a normal firing schedule? Not a great system, all right? Looks cool. You'd hope it would do its thing, but it really doesn't.
And I think Zany had it right. I think they are the ones who are suing Surefire.
Is that how? No, because somebody sent them C&Ds or something about it because they were selling a Surefire hub adapter, and I think that's what Surefire was pissed off about, that they were in violation of their patent, even though, according to Carl Brugger, they had developed it in conjunction or around a similar time as Surefire, and they chose not to patent it, and then Surefire did. Or maybe that's what it was. Surefire did patent it, and then BNT said, actually, you can't patent that because we were already using that before you had your patent, or something like that. It has something to do with patent law and, you know, other stuff that I don't really want to get into. That's for nerds to talk about, okay? Pauly B for 10 says, John, non-veteran that he is, defines the service member population perfectly, which is to say, the center of visible mass of American society, libertine, petite boomers, grasping yet miserly. Yes. Thank you, Pauly B. I appreciate that, man. Thank you, Pauly. Zanyco for 5 says, don't let this distract you from the fact that in 1972, a crack commando unit was sent to prison by a military court for a crime they didn't commit. True. Did going back and watching, like when I was a kid watching the original A-Team, I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing ever. It's so awesome. It's epic. And then you watch it like a little bit later on, like I watched it again when I was like 19 or 20, and I was like, man, this is like a kid show. You know, this is like a kids show. It's fun. Stuff's going on. Stuff's happening on screen. None of it makes any sense, but it's just like dumb 80s action. You know, it's like, oh, it's cool.
The remake that they did with Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson was pretty good.
I actually have not seen that one.
Oh, it's worth it.
I have not seen that one. Lena Mitchell for 5 says, I'm boycotting BNT for the emotional distress they've caused Brass Facts. True, actually. Actually, this is a good thing. You should be happy that BNT USA is gone so that Brass will stop shooting that thing. All right? Stop it. You know, sell it as a limited edition TP9, okay? Cut your losses and get out. You should be happy that Brass is done with it. Moonman comes in with 10. Hope you're having a good Friday night, sir. Says, fuck up, Chud. Richard, that thing I made you, kitten. Whoa. He's gone for 2 weeks. He comes back and he calls you a kitten? All right, you going to take that, Richard?
Yes, I'm going to take it like the girl in the photo.
Oh no. The Discord kitten you are. Amrite Boy for 5 says, do you think Carl wrote that in his kitchen corner? I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure where or when he wrote this, but he definitely seems like, reading this letter that he has, he does not want to talk about this. He does not care. He's like, please shut up. Don't ask me. I'm also a victim. Get me out of here. Over on Rumble, Baseball Kid, which I do have to say, Baseball Kid. Every stream coming in, dropping $20 just to watch Jake's toes. Jake honestly should have put royalties on that or licensing agreement or something on that, because again, $20 a week, or not $20 a week, sorry, $20 a stream, Baseball Kid, for your sick enjoyment. But I digress. The rules are the rules. So here you go, Mr. Kid.
This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, Jake money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good. Your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Jake money, big toe money. That's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody.
Thank you, Baseball Kid. Appreciate you, sir. Big toe money. Jake money. That's right. Cody Fisher comes in for $20. Thank you very much. Just post the cross because Christ is king. No matter what Benjamin Netanyahu says about it. Sorry, bro. Take the L. Here you go, Cody.
You don't get to ask those questions. What's wrong with you, Mom? Why are you so scared?
Thank you very much, Cody. Appreciate it, sir. Lightspore for 5 says, Ben, getting super busy back to the new job, but remember, friends, Christ is still king, and buy your significant other flowers. That's true. You should buy your waifu flowers. Now, I know a lot of the chat is true cells, voidless true cells, and would never even imagine, but if you don't have a Floyd in your life, if you don't have a waifu to call your own personal piece of property, then how about your bros or your mother or somebody? There's somebody in your life that you could do something nice for. Okay, I think that's the moral of the story. My Floydless true selves in the chat. Thank you, Lightsport. Congratulations about the new job. I hope it's going well. Heathen from Texas for 5 says, in other gun industry drama news, Ruger and Beretta are fighting too. Beretta might try a hostile takeover of Ruger, per TGC News earlier this week. Heathen from Texas, do you not watch the show? We covered this weeks before TGC does. That's the problem, because TGC is bigger than ours. Like, we'll obviously be faster, we'll be better, we'll be stronger, you know, we'll be smarter, less gay, all of the good things. And then somebody will tell me something that another channel said as if I didn't cover it 2 weeks ago. But yeah, no, I know that they did. We talked about that weeks ago. Thank you, Heathen from Texas. Appreciate that. I think they have 4 board seats, so they're trying to get 4 to 9 board seats. Zorp says, does this happen every stream? Almost every stream, Baseball Kid comes in, he drops 20 on Rumble to make me play Big Toe Money. Yes, Jake.
And he didn't even watch it live. He watches it.
Yeah, it's for the VOD. Bushmaster over on Rumble for 5 says, if you want to scratch that A-Team itch, I recommend watching Burn Notice with Jeffrey Donovan and Bruce Campbell. Similar premise, but in early 2000s Miami. Thank you, Bushmaster. I appreciate that. I have seen a couple episodes of Burn Notice, and I liked it from what I remember from like 2008. But I do remember liking it. Deer Hunter, member for 6 months, says, thank you for the prayers, boys. Love you. God bless. God bless you, Deer Hunter. I hope you're doing all well out there. Godspeed out there. Black Flag for 10 says, stop waking my wife up with your foot wrap. By the way, we're expecting our firstborn, a son. God bless. Love you, boo. Oh, that's very kind. Well, listen, you have a wife to wake up. You have a son, your firstborn son, Mega Base. The bloodline is secured. You got a lot of things to be thankful for. And we thank you for the $10. Thank you very much, Mr. Black Flag. Godspeed and God bless to you and your wife. And congratulations, of course. Moonman for 5 says, can we get that big toe money for a humble $5 super? Do it for the kids. Well, no, the price is 20, okay? But for you, Moonman, I will make an exception, okay? For you, Moonman, I'll make an exception this one time, okay? Because I know the chat loves it. One more time for the boys.
Honey, this is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. Hey, take money, big toe money. This is a song of the summer shit. You know it's funny. Walk on stage with no shoes on. All I need is feet, boy, I'm too gone. My feet feel good, your feet where they should. Y'all just sitting in the grass with a cigarette. Take money, big toe money, that's a bigger check. Walking in, everybody's.
Yeah. All right. Every time somebody mentions a wife, Jake's like, I remember having a wife. All right, Eeyore, come on. Heathen from Texas for 5 says, oops, my bad. Been listening to books rather than watching for a few weeks. Listen, you should be listening to books. And I'm not upset at you at all. I'm just saying I get people coming to me all the time being like, hey, have you talked about this? And I'm like, yes, we have. Yes, indeed. But thank you, Heathen from Texas. We appreciate it. And hopefully you're reading some good books. I have some middle 20th century authors that I could get you to take a look at. You might approve of them. Just let me know. All right, well, let's get into a bit of the silliness, okay? We're a little bit ahead of schedule, which is great, which means that we can spend more time with the video at the end. Richard, did we talk about this last Wednesday? Or did I skip this score on Wednesday? My recall is terrible. I need to know, Richard, did we talk about this on Wednesday?
No.
Okay, perfect. Oh, as I had this saved for a while, and I don't know if we actually talked about it, but parents are upset over AI image scandal at Elmira High School. And this is problematic, okay? Let's you'll figure out why pretty soon. Parents of students at Elmira High School are expressing outrage over allegations that a teacher used artificial intelligence to create inappropriate images and videos of students.
Excuse me?
Now, we've seen this sort of drama pop up over and over again. So there was a streamer who was friends with a bunch of female streamers, and then it came out that he had like folders of AI pornographic material of his friends, right? And of course, he was a bit of a male feminist, which just means pervert. And so he's quote unquote friends with these women while he's gooning to man-made horrors beyond our comprehension, or man-made gooners beyond our comprehension, whatever you want to call it, which is like, well, at least that's all adults. However, this is a teacher doing that with his students, and to me it's irrelevant whether it's middle school or high school. You're in a position of power. I don't want to talk about gay power dynamics, but you're like literally their teacher. And as we'll get into in just a second, he was doing this on the clock at the school, like while in classroom. A parent claimed that James Monaghan was caught watching the videos during class. So a classmate comes up and is like, "Teacher, can I see?" "Oh my gosh, why is Susie bent over like that?" Or whatever it happens to be. Little bit of an oopsie. Another parent mentioned it took more than 2 weeks for the school to respond after the initial student report. After multiple complaints, the district placed Monaghan on a leave last week. Attempts to contact Monaghan were unsuccessful, and the superintendent declined to comment. In an email sent to parents on Friday, the district acknowledged the situation and stated that the employee is on paid administrative leave, of course, while the investigation is ongoing, and parents plan to attend the school board meeting at 6:30 p.m. to express their concerns. Some base dad just needs to park a wood chipper outside and just leave it running, like idling in the background, okay? So it just fills the school board meeting with the proper ambiance, okay? The proper repercussions, okay, of what should happen. James Monaghan, the chipper you shall meet. And every time somebody complains about like, oh, the Catholic Church this, oh, that, or this, or the other thing, and it's like, bro, the public school system is one objectively trying to trans your children, your daughters, your sons, and objectively filling their head with commie gobbledygook propaganda. And also, a lot of the times, just being sexual degenerates themselves and doing untoward things towards them physically, or in this case, like, how do you categorize this? Because it's certainly like unwanted sexual material, but it's also CSAM.
Yes.
Because it's involving minors, even if it's not real, it's still CSAM.
So it is their likeness. It doesn't matter if it is their image; it is their likeness.
Well, but legally speaking, this would be. I wonder if the AI. What I'm thinking is, are the AI companies able to be held liable if the AI that they license, that they operate, is creating CSAM?
No, they're protected under 230 because they're a utility.
AI companies are a utility.
Yep, they're regulated just like media.
Okay.
At least now.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, either way, that guy needs to go away basically forever. So, or permanently, whatever solution you guys can come up with, I'm sure will be just fine. Now, here's an interesting one. How do I hide this? Let me see real fast. Okay, here we go. So, this is a bit of suspense building, okay? A bit of suspense. So, there was a woman who was going about, okay? There's the woman, there's the child out and about, when a person of interest tries to kidnap one of the children. The mom defends the child from getting kidnapped, and then her reward is getting stabbed in the neck. Now, for a while, they were not reporting pictures of the perpetrator or the person's race or name. And can you guys actually wager a guess as to what race the perpetrator is? Spoiler alert. Yeah, that is what we're dealing with here. So let's read the story. So according to witnesses, Kwan Transcend was attempting to kidnap a child when Jamie Trump, not our Trump, but Jamie Trump, intervened to stop him and was stabbed. So, stabbed her in the face while out on $5,000 bail. So again, another progressive judge letting a man out, animal out, really. A stolen car out of jail, of course. He's out on bond for committing another crime. He goes to steal a child, and Jamie Trump heroically does successfully stop him. And of course, you scroll down a little bit, and Kwan is a career criminal with at least 4 other arrests for endangerment, battery, and drug charges. So he has averaging 1 arrest per 6 months. Now, backing up a second, so we'll go to this. I would like to share this. There is information not being shared. My mom was there with my 2 children, and a black male, 27, which they haven't released his name or information on him, again, because he's black and they want to, not stereotype. Who wouldn't want to stereotype now? That'd be problematic. 27, a black male, which they haven't released his name or information on him yet, went up to a little girl and tried to kidnap her, and the woman involved grabbed the child and intervened. Once she intervened, the guy stabbed her in the neck. He was charged with aggravated battery, yet no mention of the attempted kidnapping, and his identity has not been released. My 3-year-old daughter is able to say that she saw a lady get stabbed in the neck and that she saw lots of blood. Why isn't there a charge for attempted kidnapping? Why aren't we protecting children better? And this is intentional. This is part of the punishment, right? This man is just a good old boy who didn't do nothing wrong. He's had a hard life. So have a little heart, lady. I know that he tried to abduct your child and then stabbed a lady in the neck for stopping him, but have a heart, all right? This is just a gentle, kind soul that society forgot about, okay? This is just one of those sad, tragic cases, and it's our duty, or your duty, to pay the penalty for his sins. We must let Quan Tresvant hang out, attempt to abduct children and to murder people as he sees fits. Now, why is it just aggravated assault? Why isn't it attempted murder? Why isn't it attempted kidnapping? Why isn't this guy ground up into paste? Right? All of the questions we would like to have answers to. But this is just another horrifying case of the consequences of mass immigration from places that we shouldn't have. And if and if you're going to say, no, his family's been here for 300 years or 200 years, I'd be like, well, that was also bad immigration. But we had rules in place beforehand that would limit these sorts of outbursts, especially in public. But to the woman, Jamie Trump, to the Foyd who got involved, good on you. And it's a sad thing that you were placed in that scenario, that you were placed in danger, that the children were almost abducted, but good on you for doing what was right in that moment and standing up for the kids. And I truly apologize to you that society has not done a better job removing filth like this so that you would even be put in the situation in the first place. In unrelated news, all the women in my family are armed with Gaston's creation. They should be, yes. Yes, absolutely. They should be able to not have to physically interact with a man. Because honestly, as of yet, it's not reporting that she died. So she got stabbed, slashed in the neck, and survived. I haven't seen that she was murdered yet. So she is still alive and recovering, hopefully. But it should never come to a physical altercation between your wife, your mother, your daughter, your sister, whatever it might be, and the thing on the left, right?
Now,
should never be the case.
Do we know if she has a crowdfund or a GoFundMe or anything?
There is a meal train for the Trump family. Let me see if I can find that real fast, and I can post a link. Because I saw that I got the screenshot of it, but not the link to it, which would have been much more helpful. You know who you are. For the Jamie Trump family. Let me see. Here we go. So according to the Olathe reporter, community organizing support for family of woman stabbed Thursday in Olathe. So meal train for the Trump family. Let me see. Okay, good. So the man has now. Oh, you're actually going to make me log in to get to your links. You're retarded. But the good news is, so here's the lady, beautiful family, 3 children, mega based. You're doing the right thing. The alleged attacker has since been charged with attempted murder, which is the correct, among other things. There's many things that should have happened, okay? But where's the actual link here? Shoot. Can I see if I can find one? Why can they're literally hiding the link behind a paywall.
All right, I'll find it.
Or I have to log in. What is your problem? The fundraiser can be found here and I can't click on it. What is your problem, dude? But good on her. Good on her. We'll find the link and we'll drop it in chat, but absolutely mega based of her to stand up and do what was right, regardless of the price that she was willing to pay all of it, obviously, which is good, as you should be. Now, jump scare time. All right, jump scare time to UK healthcare. This free universal healthcare that we've been hearing so much about over in Europe doesn't look so European these days. Okay. Senior NHS dietitian fired after she didn't know what intestines were. Ifenwinwa Chizubi and Dulu Nanzo. That was a Latin incantation, as far as I'm concerned, that summoned a black devil, which, ironically enough, is currently on the screen. Of Nigeria, was hired in Manchester in 2024 and claimed she had overstated her qualifications a bit, blaming cultural differences. Cultural differences, you say. Now, listen, guys, if this is not a trustworthy face, then I simply don't know what is, okay? Not a lot of woods in the chat. Where did all the logs go? Not a lot of woods in the... Suddenly, you guys, this is too far? This is too much for you? Really? All right. You know, I'm starting to get the little bit of a tell here that I think the chat is racist. I think the chat might be a little... And I'm disappointed because I hoped you would be far worse than that. Yeah, dude, I gotta read that name again. Ifenwinwa rolls right off the tongue. Chizubi Ndulu Nanzo of Nigeria was hired in Manchester in 2024 and claimed she had overstated her qualifications a bit because she doesn't know what intestines are. Now, I'm not a doctor. I couldn't point to intestines on a map. All right. But, it should be part of the qualifications for being a senior NHS dietitian. All right. And there's many, many such stories of this. So we have another one, just back-to-back bangers here. Now, this is, of course, by Zoomer Historian, which is mega-based. You should definitely go and find all of his material. Go to his X account where it's all linked so you can still watch his videos because he was too based for YouTube. But, yeah, whoa, minorities are violent criminals, so shouldn't be here. Also coming out of the UK, Essex Police pauses use of live facial recognition cameras due to racial bias concerns. The technology is seen by the government as a way of using AI to get dangerous individuals off the streets, but there are concerns over privacy and data retention. No. It's AI is always going to be racist. AI is always going to discriminate, okay? Unless it's just mega bent over cucked. Like, pattern recognition is undefeated. And that's really all AI can do, okay? It's basically like a remixer. That's it. It only takes what is and then spits it out. Essex Police has paused use of live facial recognition cameras after a study found that they identified more black people than other ethnic groups. Huh. Strange that. Huh. The cameras are mounted on vans and designed to identify people on watch lists if they pass by. 13 forces were using it by the end of last year, and the Home Secretary said in January that the number of LFR vans would increase from 10 to 50 because they're a literal police state, a literal surveillance state. And then when they surveil the criminals, they're like, oh, actually, those are the wrong type of criminals because they're all black. Ah. However, Essex police said that it paused the use of LFR after potential bias in the positive identification rate, although it now believes the issue has been corrected by updating the algorithm. Yeah, not updating the arrest records, though, are we? Nearly 200 people were recruited by University of Cambridge researchers to test LFR during one of the force's deployments. They found it correctly identified around half of those on the watch list, and that it was extremely rare for someone to be flagged if they weren't on the list. So, yeah, you know what? Problem is that AI be racist and shit. Racist and shit. Now, here's another a wonderful little story coming out of Berlin, a great place in Europe right now. And this is a perfect graph. Okay, so you have functional society over time. And you have kind lie. You get a little bit of a peak in functionality, okay? Because, like, you know, a little lie, everybody gets along a little bit better. And then it goes all the way down. It just spikes down to another lie over and over and over again. Immigration is good. They're just like us. They'll assimilate. We're all human beings. Love is love. You know, anything, any kind lie. Like, this graph is basically perfect. And you can use it in different ways, in different formats. It's like the map, okay? You all know the map that I'm talking about, where it just shows the southern states and their problems that happen to correlate perfectly with a certain population. It's like the map, okay? You can use this in any situation. Handy dandy little meme, handy dandy little graph that you can just pull out at your favorite family gatherings. But this is a true story. Listen to this, shall we? A Berlin school hid the gang rape of a 16-year-old girl by 9 Arab boys to avoid stigmatizing Muslims. This is Europe now. How did we allow white Europeans to become an abused minority in our own country? And this is the it's funny that this is in Germany and they are offering a gas chamber as a possible solution. A little on the nose, but I was able to actually just find the article itself, and it's as bad as you think it is. A youth center in Berlin's district is facing mounting backlash after it emerged that staff failed to report serious sexual assault allegations to police, reportedly out of concern that the suspects would be labeled typical Muslims. Now, I want to be very clear. Arabs, third worlders of really any variety, are not like you. You don't understand them. They're not good neighbors. They're not just like you. They don't have your values, okay? And I'm kind of preaching to the choir here because we get it, right? We understand. To the liberal, they think that humans are nothing but environment, like blank slate, right? Nothing but environment, nothing but socioeconomic status. That's it, right? And so they can simply just move a Nigerian family to South Dakota and they will become model South Dakotans. But that's just simply not true. They're still Nigerians. They might have access to more money and they might have, you know, programs they can scam off of, but it doesn't change them. Much the same way that if I move to China, I will never be Chinese. It's just never going to happen, okay? And the rest of the world gets it, but it's only white Westerners that have been propagandized into believing such a hilarious untruth, a monstrous lie, okay? And the reason why it sells so well is because it's vaguely nice or something. But listen, Arabs are not like us, and we don't understand them. Africans are not like us, and we don't understand them. It's just simple as. It's just simple as. Yes, that's right. As you amplify the signal, if you move to Japan, you do magically become Japanese. Just magically. And then people say, well, being Western isn't about any sort of ethnic group. It's not about any sort of nationality. It's really just an idea. Like, Western values are really just an idea. And I'm like, yeah, but those ideas came out of a very specific people, and only those people can propagate those values. That's why Eastern values are different, all right? And you can even break it down even more specifically between German values, between Anglo values, between Spanish values, and you can mix and match and have all the different colors that you will, but they're never going to be the same. Okay? If you put Spanish people in Germany and Germans in Spain, you just switch the locations of Germans and Spaniards, right? They don't just magically switch into something else. You could say, well, hey, listen, cultures change over 1,000 years. Therefore, you don't actually exist. It's like, that's not relevant to, the murders happening tomorrow and today. That's completely irrelevant. You're retarded. Cultures are ideas. Cultures are not ideas. Cultures have a genetic basis, a geographic basis. You need those two things, and that spreads forth culture. Culture is downstream from genetics. Culture doesn't just, like, I can't, what am I supposed to do? Let's grab a bunch of blacks and let's give them the American Constitution. What was the name of that country? Liberia? Is that where we tried that?
Yes, that was Liberia.
Yeah, and it turns out that you give different cultures an American Constitution, and they just end up just like other Africans. Really, really funny how that just ends up happening. Again, they're not like us. You don't understand them. And pretending they're just like you is retarded, because they don't hold your values. They don't care about you. They don't have a shared ethos. It's completely different. And you're looking down on them by thinking, oh, they're just like me. And they look at you and they're like, you don't look like me. I don't care about you. Now, this is interesting. Of course, we know this intuitively, but it also plays out in the data, which is nice. Non-citizen households use welfare double the U.S. born rate. So let's see here. Afghanistan, 87% of Afghanistans living in the U.S. are on some form of welfare. Dominican Republic, 78. Guatemala, 77. El Salvador, 75. Honduras, 75. Ecuador, 70. Mexico, 67. Haiti, 65. Cuba, 61. Vietnam, 57. Vietnam, always being the worst of the East Asians. Colombia, 55. Venezuela, 51. Now, keep in mind that when they're like, wow, immigrants use double the welfare by a household, are on twice as much welfare as Americans. That's factoring in American blacks and American Hispanics and other ethnic groups that use welfare at a disproportionately high percentage. So if you compared it to, let's say, like white or East Asian Americans, like you would have, the graph would be even more skewed, like ridiculously skewed. Yeah. Well, one more thing that we want to follow up here before we get to the video, which I want to talk about, is going to be a follow-up. We watched this video like a week ago, I want to say. This is the woman who decided to throw the ticket back at the officer, and then the officer decides to reach in and say, actually, you can't do that, you're littering, get out of the vehicle, and then she resists, and hilarity ensues. Now, I'm going to download the video real fast so that we don't have to put up with Instagram's terrible interface. Let me go ahead and put this up. There we go. And now here we have the full video of them interacting together. Tanisha Thompson, of course, decided it was a good idea to throw her ticket out of the window in front of the officer after being pulled over in Hurst, Texas. She was then asked to exit the vehicle and resisted arrest. Her 15-year-old son in the vehicle seemed to have some sense and urged her to comply with the officer, but nope. Miss Thompson has since filed a complaint alleging excessive force. And now we'll just let this play out.
I do want to say props to the son.
Yeah, the son was saying the right thing the whole time. He was trying to do it. I'm not going to post her Instagram, Richard. That's not going to happen.
No, that was for you. No.
No, I know. No, I'm not going to be like, hey guys, go check out. No,
don't.
No, I can't post either of those links, but if we can find it, we will.
Hi there. I'm Corporal Morgan with the Hurst Police Department. Reason why you're getting stopped, you were just driving through a school zone going 40. It's a 25 through there. Do you have your driver's license proof of insurance with you today?
Have a good night, Frank. is Officer Chad Face. Officer, let me read his name tag. Nate Higgerson? Is that what I'm reading there? Something like that.
He looks like the Terminator.
Where y'all heading to this afternoon?
Home.
Yeah, not the guy to pick a fight with.
Why?
Just a question.
It's none of your business.
I'm sorry?
It's none of your business.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just a question. Now, on principle, if you're having problems, shut up. Don't talk to the officer. Shut up. Like, just be quiet. All right, shut up.
It is.
Okay. Do you have your insurance?
I'm showing you that.
Any reason for the hurry this afternoon?
I wasn't in a hurry. I didn't even see a school
Oh, there's
zone.
a flashing signal as you were driving through.
Always feign ignorance as a woman, okay? Literally nothing is my fault ever. 40 and a 25. Speed is merely a frame of mind, okay? All right? Time is like subjective or something. I was waiting for the speed to happen to me, okay?
Directly on the side of the roadway.
Well, in South Dakota, you don't need to have your physical insurance. You just need to have a picture of it. So, like, I also just have a picture of my insurance on my phone. I don't have, like, a physical copy of it. But in some states, you need to have a physical copy. In some states, you just need a picture. So I just have a picture of mine as well.
Can I see your phone?
Yeah, so that's just her insurance. You're just making sure it's up to date.
That's good
It's
till
normal.
March. Let me go check on your license. I'll be right back with you. Y'all just stay in the car for me.
Now, let me see, because I wonder if he just fast forward here. He does print out the ticket, goes to give it to her, and this is where hilarity ensues.
Okay, Tanisha, you'll be receiving a citation today for the speed. I just need to get a signature from you. This is not an admission of guilt.
I'm not.
It's a promise. You're not going to sign it?
No, I'm not.
That's fine. I'll just put refuse. I need to get the VIN number on the car real quick. I'll enter that. I'll print you your copy and send you on your way.
That's not going to happen. I don't want to touch walls and butts in the Oval Office. No, thank you.
Where's your registration sticker on the car?
I just bought this car, so I'm waiting for it.
Okay.
Any more questions?
I'm just asking.
Okay. I
Do you have your bill of sale with the car then?
told No, I don't.
Okay, you should probably carry that with you if you're not going to display your registration sticker.
Well, I wasn't told that.
Does Texas have some sort of registration sticker that they need to have? Is this something that I'm not aware of? Registration sticker. What? I hate all the gay taxes that come along with owning cars, dude. Like getting your license and your tabs done every year. It's like, really? There's no purpose for this other than a tax. It's a retard tax is all it is. Inspection? Yeah, like I know some people have freaking emissions testing. In South Dakota, no emissions testing. Are you kidding me? You get my car tested? What do you think it has? AIDS? Jeez.
So might need to get updated.
Registration and inspection is a combo sticker here. Ugh. See, Texas is not cool. Texas is not based. Like, I never go to Texas and I'm like, oh, I like it here. I'm like, wow, this place is gross. I'm sure if I get away from the cities, it can be quite nice and beautiful and whatnot. But every time I'm in, I fly into one of the big places and I have to drive around, I'm like, this sucks. Like, I do not like this here, dude.
All right, give me just a second.
One minute later.
All right, here's your copy of the citation. As far as the bills, you don't want to take it? Well, it's going to take it because it's your citation.
Well, so what does happen if you refuse a citation, though? Like, what's the proper purpose? Are you, like, if I just say no, if you just say no long enough, do you get a free ride to jail? Is that how it goes?
I think they're supposed to write refuse to sign on it. And then they just file it.
Yeah, because then you're still liable for it. You're not going to get away with it because you didn't sign it, you know? It's not some sort of legal loophole that this scholar has just figured out how to get through.
Oh, that's your citation. That's littering. Step out of the car.
Yeah. She throws it, which is like, the officer's been nice, and she has not been. So he's not in any position where he's forced to give her the benefit of the doubt. You know, some officers might have a little bit more leniency, but personally, I think this guy has shown enough. I think he's been nice enough. He's tried to be nice, and now it is time to not do that thing anymore.
Citation. That's littering. Step out of the car.
Don't
Yes,
do
ma'am.
that.
Yes, ma'am. Step
car.
out.
I'm not stepping
Step out. 69163.
Yes.
Step out.
I'm not.
Step out. Step out.
Don't touch
Step
me.
out.
Don't touch me.
Step it out.
I'm not stepping out.
And yes, that is her 15-year-old son in the passenger seat, attempting to reason with the mom, attempting to get her to behave. When the 15-year-old son is the reasonable one in the car, you know you have problems. But you know that this lady is problems for everyone in her life, which is truly sad.
Step out.
Don't touch
Step
me.
out.
Don't touch me.
Step it out.
I'm not stepping
Step
out
out.
of shit. Call
Step
your
out.
motherfucking supervisor.
I am the supervisor.
This is the body cam of that
Yes,
footage.
I am.
Mr.
I am the
Satan.
corporal.
A
Step out.
supervisor. I'm not
Step
stepping
out.
out of nothing. Get
Step
your
out.
fucking hand off me.
Step
Get
it
your
out.
hand off me. Get your hand off me. I will step
Step
out
out.
when the supervisor.
I
I'm
am
not
the
stepping
supervisor.
Out of nothing.
Ma'am.
Get your hand off me.
Tanisha.
Get your hand
I'm not
off
letting
me.
go.
You littered. You
I
dropped
am
the
not.
ticket, not
I
me.
put the ticket.
Yeah, nobody has to like getting a traffic citation. You know, like I've gotten BS traffic citations where it's like, really? Nobody likes that. But listen, you can always escalate a traffic stop into a death sentence if you're stupid enough.
In the car
you dropped the
because
ticket,
that's your
not
copy.
me. You dropped the ticket, not me. Get your hands off me.
Take the ticket
you're
and
touching
go.
Me. Give me the ticket. You're touching me forcibly. You're holding me
Because
too tight, and you're being out of line.
you are resisting.
Y'all see this, right?
Sir, I'm sorry.
Stop.
Can she just get the ticket?
No, you stop.
Stop.
Why are you holding my arm like
Because
this?
I gave you the
Why?
ticket,
No, you
then
did
you
not.
proceeded to throw
dropped
it.
the ticket.
I
not
put it
me.
in your car.
People are saying the kid's mixed. Like, the mom's only half, or like 75%. So the kid is by definition mixed of some sort, but he's looking pretty dark. All right, he's not.
I think she's probably closer to 60%. You know, right about
Yeah,
3/5.
3/5, right about there. All right.
I told you I did
And
not
you
want it.
proceeded to throw it out of the
dropped
car.
You dropped it. You're doing too much. I'm not afraid of you. Get your
That's
hand
fine,
off of
but
me.
I've asked you
You're
to step
holding
out of
me
the car.
forcibly for no reason.
Because you need to step
Get
out
your
of the
fucking
car.
hands off
Step
me.
out of the car.
No, what am I stepping out of the car
Is there
for?
anything I can do to get you to comply?
Look, Mom, he just said take the
To
ticket.
comply.
You threw the car out of the car.
No, I did not. You did that.
He said
You
take
threw
the
the
ticket
ticket at me.
I gave it to you so you
threw
could
the
leave.
ticket at
And then
me.
you grabbed it
Okay,
and threw it out.
give me the
It's on
ticket.
your phone
Give
video.
me the ticket.
Yeah, see, this is the coping part of the equation where you realize that you've overstepped and now you're going to bargain back because now you're afraid, right? The consequences of your actions are rapidly approaching and you are now bargaining with fate, you know? It's like you're in the, you're driving a little too fast, you lose control around a corner and you're mid oversteer death turn and you're like, oh, I should probably slow down now. Now you're hitting the brakes as it's too late. Oopsie.
No,
Give me the ticket.
we're past that.
Okay.
You're under arrest. Step
For
out of the
what?
car, littering.
Okay.
Step out of the car.
No, I'm not.
You're under arrest.
No, when the
Yes, ma'am.
When your colonel gets
No,
here,
we are
then I
beyond
will
that.
Step out.
Step
I'm
out.
not getting out of the car.
Step out.
I'm with my child, and I'm not
I
doing
understand
that.
you're with
Call
your child.
father right now.
Step out of the car.
I'm not.
Step out of the car.
I'll step out when another officer gets here. I'm not
Step
stepping
out.
Hey James Wick, I hope you're doing well. This chat is a little spicy, James. So relax. It's funny. Everybody I know named James is like softer and or liberal. It's terrible things you guys have done to that name. Unbelievable.
I don't trust you. You're holding me too strong.
Because I don't trust
you
you
don't
to
have
not
to hold
leave.
me like I'm not going anywhere. Where am I going to go?
I will stop holding
I'm
you
not
if
gonna
you
go
step out of the
anywhere.
car.
I'm not stepping out of the car.
You need to
Call
step
your
out of the
colonel and
car.
I will get out of the car.
This is
You're
resisting
holding me.
arrest.
I'm not resisting arrest.
Because you're not.
As she's actively resisting getting out of the car. The hubris of the modern female, the modern ethnic female, of course.
Dude,
Answering my order.
Was that Richard?
you're right about James.
I know it's always James. It's always a James, bro. I know it's always it's just it holds out. It holds out.
What am I under arrest for? I didn't litter. You
threw
did
the
that.
ticket
No,
out the
I did not.
window.
You did.
Oh, and now she's denying reality as if she did not, in fact, throw the ticket. Come on, lady. Come on. Anyways, taser, taser, taser.
My order.
What am I under arrest for? I didn't litter. You
threw
did
the
that.
ticket
No,
out the
I did not.
window.
You did that. You did that. It's all on camera.
You're
so
correct.
when your colonel gets here, then I will step out. I
Colonel
have my
Sanders
child-
gonna get
and I
here,
did it
gonna
out
teach
of-
you a lesson.
You have a supervisor.
Colonel Sanders
I am the
gonna
supervisor
rectify this
officer.
situation, please.
Gets here,
He
then
is
I
not.
will
I
step
am
out
the
of
highest
car.
ranking
Call
supervisor.
someone else
I don't
to
have
come
anyone
here.
else.
There is someone else.
Not right now.
Listen, Half, I get that you're a James, okay, which is good to know. James is a great name. The name is great, okay? But I'm saying the people who bear the name are oft disappointing, okay? So you, as a James, are having to carry all of their dead weight, and the pressure is mounting, James, to restore your great name.
There is someone
You need to
else. Let me
step
call
out of the car.
911.
Stop.
Get your
Stop.
phone.
Get out.
Is she gonna call 911?
Get out. Wait.
Yeah, on me, okay.
Stop. Get out.
Stop, 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 please stop,
Stop.
stop. Wait, stop.
Oh my gosh.
Stop, 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 stop.
Dude, there was one little word you could hear, and it was racist. And yes, the black 15-year-old child is pleading with both the officer and his mom to rectify the situation in a non-confrontational manner. He's trying his best, but unfortunately, son, it has gone too far.
Someone else.
There is someone else.
Not right now.
There is someone
You
else.
need to
Let me
step
call
out of the car.
911.
Stop.
Get your phone.
Stop.
No, listen
Get
for
out.
the one word you can hear here in a second.
Wait, stop, sir, please stop.
Stop. Get out.
Stop, please stop,
Stop.
Wait, stop.
Get out, man.
Stop.
Racist.
Roll over. Roll over. Roll over. Roll over.
How am I going to roll over?
Roll over. Roll to the left.
The time has come
Pull your hand up.
to comply, all right? And I am no longer asking for you to comply.
All you had to do is take the ticket and leave.
Again, not a grand prize winner of a Darwin Award, but like at least an honorable mention, right? Because again, the best of the best, right, when it comes to reverse negotiation tactics can increase or can upgrade or improve a parking ticket, a speeding ticket to a death sentence. She only upgraded it to like jail time, enhanced fine, maybe felony charges, not entirely sure yet. But good reverse negotiation, not the best I've seen though. Okay, not the best I've seen. Good, with a little bit more practice in reverse negotiations, she could someday be a grand prize winner, but not today.
She's in custody.
Get my phone.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna lead you this way. I'll step up. And feet, knees. There we go. I'm throwing to this car back here.
He's still so nice to her too, right? They're being very kind.
Face the number 11. Right there. Spread your feet for me. No guns, drugs, knives on you, right? No guns, drugs.
This is also the part where a lot of the times, if you follow Napa interactions, they go into shutdown mode, which is fine. You know, honestly, it's the preferable mode. It's usually towards the end. And in shutdown mode, it's very important to remember that you're always like 1 iota, 1 millisecond away from back up to maximum chimp out event, right? Maximum random chimp event. but there is like a silent shutdown mode that they go into sometimes.
Drugs or knives on you? Yes or no?
Do it look like I got any guns, drugs, and knives on me?
I don't know. That's why I asked you.
Oh wait, did it come out that James was where was he? Saint Floyd, LMAO. James was a Muslim? Is James a Muslim? That's even worse, dude. That's even worse, bro.
I think so.
Okay.
It's a yes or no question. Okay, he's in the back of my hand.
Get my phone.
Get in there.
I am curious, James Wick, Texas. So, do you treat men and women different? All right, when you see a woman who is about to open up a door, like you and a woman are going up to a door at the same time, or you and another man are going up to a door at the same time, do you treat men and women different? Okay, I'm curious. Just answer that. Safety first. Nice. Great video. We got a great second perspective on that. I'm just curious, James. Let me know. Are you a fan, or do you treat men and women identical? Right. He says he does hold the door for both regardless, but do you treat them identically? So I'll be more specific. Do you treat men and women identically? All right.
Wait, is he saying his door is open for both regardless?
So my question is basically, if you see a 72-year-old Asian lady with a cane, or a obvious 6'4" crackhead walking towards you in an aggressive manner with his hand behind his back, do you treat those two people the same? Obviously not. Obviously you don't, right? And racial profiling is just the same. You should understand that there are racial differences and you should treat them differently, right? When I see an old elderly couple at the park, I don't really care that much. When I see a group of youths, I'm ready to execute maximum violence at any point in time. Obviously, because I do not treat them equally, because they are not equal in any way, shape, or form. All right. Well, let's go ahead. We're at the 2-hour mark, which is great. We're going to get to a great video. And I like doing this with smaller content creators, especially ones that do really good work. So this is Goypilled, the ideology behind the Epstein files. It's going to be a little spicy, but I love finding these little videos from small content creators that do good work and shouting them out, giving them a bigger platform, so to speak. And yeah, this is from Spree Snooter. And it's a really good video. And it might be a little too spicy. It might be not up on YouTube for very much longer. But before we get to that, Sheep Herder for 2 says, gonna need Big Toe Money 2 remix featuring Skrillex. Yeah, let's get a remix version of that, please. Thank you, Sheep Herder. Appreciate it. Moonman for 5 says, anyone who says middle 20th century instead of the actual time while not owning a Herman Miller lounge chair is poor coded. Need Tito emoji for chat. I probably have enough members to add a bunch of different emojis in there, so I could get Tito in there, sure.
Yeah, you do.
But yeah, well, the reason why I say middle 20th century is because it's, it leads people to wonder, who is he referring to? Who could it possibly be? Chud for 2 says, we need incredibly a gassy emote for chat too. I'm just not as big of a fan of that one, Chud. Moonman for 5 says, do you know how much Warhammer I am not getting painted because schools demand the chippening? Yeah, it is going to cut into your wood chipper time, or sorry, your Warhammer painting time, feeding all those wood chippers. But listen, somebody's got to do it, and it might as well be you. Sean Weiland for 5 says, we need to shut down all public schools until we figure out what's going on. I don't know if I would go exactly that far, but we do need to have our own long march through the institutions, okay? And we need to regain, retake, and, reconquest. Maybe that's a better way to say it. Thank you, Sean. Appreciate that, sir. Sheep Herder for 2 says, you doing too much, says the overstimulated child. Yeah, I mean, I do feel bad for the kid, right? Because it seems he at least has the proper disposition. He's attempting to be a peacemaker, a deal maker, and he's obviously not cut out for the streets with his mild temperament. Chud for 2 says, TND, whatever that means. Too many choices. Who can stay? You can stay. We like you. Very nice. Thank you, TND. Or thank you, Chud. Appreciate that. Focus Stream Gunner 1488 says, why'd you put the Napa on? I was almost finished. Well, you know, sometimes a man's got to do what a man's got to do. Thank you, Focus Stream Gunner. Appreciate you. Hoping you're having a good time. All right, let's get to the video. Now, again, I dropped the link in chat for everybody because you should go check them out. Maybe if possible, we'll get them on stream, kind of like what we did with Tom Foe originally as well. But I do like these little videos. It's a great video, great editing.
Supremacist beliefs held by the... As a brief disclaimer, this video discusses the supremacist beliefs held by the infamous sex criminal Jeffrey Epstein, with said beliefs motivating his actions as detailed in the Epstein files. I wholeheartedly condemn these beliefs, and the purpose of this video is to provide historical and ideological context in the interest of seeking a greater understanding of the situation. I am in no way glorifying him, his beliefs, nor his actions. Again, I do not support these beliefs. Thank you.
Do not listen to that.
I do love that ad. So perfect.
It
Because
plays
everybody
on
was
here
just clipping it.
often.
Everybody was just clipping it in reverse, right? Or like just showing just the screenshot underneath somebody like Mark Levin's post or something like that. Such a dumb ad. Obviously, it was going to get memed to oblivion. Like, it's just funny.
they should
It's
put
so
Ridges on the
funny.
ad.
They're clipping the ads.
Do not listen to that.
Thank you, man.
I know how it feels.
See, we got the blue square for the Jews. We got the black square for the blacks, and then we got what do we got for the whites? Nah, whites don't need one. You guys can have your little symbols. We're good. We're good, dog.
Nah. They're not worth it, bro.
That's right. Black Jew alliance against white hatred. Because, you know, whites just go around randomly attacking people in the streets, and we're just known for being really randomly violent or something. And blacks are just known as like the strong protector class or something, or something like that. Anyway, who brought them over? Who owned the ships? What's going on?
We don't know who owned the ships, but we know who wants
Jeffrey
the gold.
Epstein.
So the Epstein files have dropped recently, at least some of them, and after a few days, there have mainly been two reactions. There's the low information normie class whose minds are totally blown, and then there are the schizos and chuds who have known about this stuff for years and are clown-pilled to the point that
yes, clown pilled his way for it. Many concerned mothers out there of young chuds, all right? They're afraid of the chud posting, and they just don't know what's gotten into their sweet little innocent boys. But that is the way of the world, okay? We're radicalized because the world we grew up in no longer exists, and everything is literally fake gay and or satanic and all run by pedophiles, and we've known about it for decades now, and there seems to be no political solution. So of course I'm chud posting, Mom. What do you expect in this economy?
barely matters. Assuming you're a member of the latter category, I'm sure you can relate to the experience of normies frantically asking if you've heard about the latest horrific crime against humanity that you first saw on poll a decade ago. Better late than never, I suppose, but this often leads to the awkward question of what now, to which the answer is nothing. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but as far as I can tell, this email drop is no different than the rest of what we've been given regarding Epstein, and that it's largely a diversion. The crazy stuff that normies are melting down over is all alleged. You know, I'm not saying that George Bush wasn't on a yacht with a bunch of elites.
Yeah, this was the crazy one that got posted everywhere, where it was interracial gang rape and then killing babies and eating their intestines. And even the FBI guy was like, You know, this is schizo nutso talk, right? Not saying that these sort of events don't happen somewhere, but this one specifically, this example might be sus and kind of like a diversion or a distraction from the real thing. But basically, everything in the Epstein files was already known to like online schizo-pilled people. And I'm not like a terminally online guy. I'm not somebody that's been around forever doing all this sort of stuff. So I'm not going to pretend to be the guy that knew all of this all along. But to the normie's consciousness, to the true normie, none of this was known, right? There's like this beautiful facade, this beautiful wall between their minds and reality. And it took something like mainstream media coverage, basically until the man on the TV tells me something, I don't believe it, for the Epstein files and sort of this revelation to break the blood-brain barrier and actually become a part of public consciousness.
Where they dismembered and ate baby intestinal fecal matter after watching interracial gang rapes and cutting a guy's feet with scimitars after violating him. But we need more of a testimony where even the agent writing the stuff down didn't believe it. As far as I can tell, the big stuff is all like this. You've got a 2013 email between Epstein and a former French diplomat who's currently a World Economic Forum member, where they compare white girls to shrimp and talk about removing the heads and keeping the bodies. I think we all have an idea of what that means, but can you prove it? Keep in mind, this is what you're allowed to see. Epstein was first arrested for soliciting a minor in 2006, and it took very...
And on that point of what you're allowed to see, I mean, that was, I think, the title of the first stream we did after the Epstein files dropped, what they allow you to see in the files, is all of the real stuff, all of the good stuff, all of the damning evidence that they could use for future blackmail. That stuff's not going to be in there, right? They'll throw Leon Black under the bus. They'll throw Epstein under the bus because he's gone, allegedly. You know, they'll throw certain old political players who are no longer in power, they'll throw them under the bus because those are small fries. Those aren't active investigations. Those aren't active assets, right? So it's not useful. So this is just what they allow you to see. You can be assured that what is being hidden, and again, if you listen to Pam Bondi at all, the child abuse videos and the murder videos, snuff films, whatever exists out there, you're never going to see any of that.
I just want to
13
know
years
if we can actually prosecute the people in the Epstein files now that the Dow has tanked.
No, it's true. We are back under 50K. So I think now is the time to start prosecutions.
Finally raid him in 2019. Of the mountains of evidence accumulated from decades of deviancy, how much of that do you think will be officially released? How much of that do you think hasn't been destroyed in the 20 years since? I've long stopped caring about the files for this reason. Of course, I'd like them to be released, but I don't think the government will ever give us what people are looking for, with this recent batch of emails serving as an example.
Yeah, we can't trust the government that allowed Epstein to operate, that coordinated with him in certain circumstances. That same government, that same organization is going to now truthfully report on him and expose their own crimes and their own members to blowback. Doesn't seem very likely. Again, they'll give you a few sacrificial lambs here and there. But by and large, like, this stuff is still useful. A lot of these people are still in positions of power. This blackmail is still useful to people. And again, I am dropping the link to this video in both the Rumble and the YouTube chat. So you should go over there, comment on his video, and tell him who sent you, okay? All right?
That. So, is that it? It's over? Never began? Well, no. There is one major thing of note regarding the recent Epstein file drop, which is the confirmation that the Epstein operation was explicitly an ethnic one. And really, everyone suspected that to some degree. Ghislaine Maxwell's father was a huge Mossad guy, but going through the emails, it's clear to see that it wasn't just an Israeli operation, it was a Jewish one.
But right before he gets to this, I do want to say that, of course, all of the current Jewish Mossad operatives were saying, actually, it seems like we couldn't figure out who he worked with. You know, Ted Cruz being, he must have been a Russian agent, or if he worked with any government, it certainly wasn't Israel. And then Ben Shapiro being like, I think he was a Russian agent. As you can tell, he was working with all these Jewish Israeli figures. So obviously he worked for Russia as part of a disinformation campaign. Okay. And honestly, frankly, to believe anything contrary to that is terrifying.
Epstein says verbatim that he represents the Rothschilds, a highly powerful international banking family connected to Zionism, who directly created the current state of Israel through the Balfour Declaration in World War I, with the Rothschilds and other Zionists potentially buying Churchill for his debts, which then led to opposition with Nazi Germany, and the rest is history. It's worth noting that this particular email was sent to Silicon Valley tech mogul and co-ethnic Peter Thiel, a friend of Elon Musk who started PayPal with him, and the longtime mentor of Vice President J.D. Vance, who put him in the White House.
J.D. Vance, if he does run, I know there was some reports saying that he was not going to run in 2028 due to family issues, but it might just be that they're kind of fridging him for a later point in time, because the Trump admin is probably going to go down if I had to guess, the Trump admin is going to go down disastrously. And because it's going to go down so bad, they want J.D. Vance to still be a political figure in the future because he's in the pocket of these political, literal antichrist Peter Thiel. Because of that, right? So they're going to distance him from the 2028 campaign, run some other loser to lose, and then bring him back 2032, 2036, something around that time frame as another political asset.
I look for...
Rubio could be the fall guy in 2028. That's my possibility.
That's what I was just about to say, was I look for them to run Rubio in 2028, and then Vance will come back for the reboot in 2032.
Exactly. Yep.
Subject of networking and international power. Epstein elaborates on these subjects a few other times, like how in a conversation with the renowned professor and AI entrepreneur Roger Schenck, he says that the way the Jew makes money is by selling concepts and operating outside the framework of non-Jews. A direct quote is, "Let the Goyim deal in the real world. Let the Goyim toil in the rat race and work themselves into an early grave, while the Jew operates on a separate plane of existence, making money through non-tangible means like academia and markets, banking, and pornography." I'd like to...
Well, and he's 100% correct there. So the important factor is not, it's not, of course, everybody says the thing, it's not all Jews, blah, 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 but always, blah, 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 we get it. Anyways, they don't view you, like, from their worldview, from their paradigm, they do not view you as equal to them. And again, their actions make sense from their paradigm, from their presuppositions, from their worldview, right? Because they're operating as, we are the literal chosen people. If you're a Orthodox Jew, or if we are a secular Jew, we are the oppressed people. And so we operate on a different plane. Okay, we have everybody else, and they're really here as our playthings. Okay, they have animal souls, we have human souls. And therefore, anything we do to them is justified, right? The meme that your enemies are ontologically evil, and therefore anything you do to them is justified. That's what Jews actually believed. Again, not all of them, but that is a belief held by Jews about the non-Jews, the Goyim, right? And that is all of us. So they can do things to you that they would not do to one of their own.
Reiterate that this is Epstein speaking to other Jews. This isn't some extremist conspiracy theory. When Epstein speaks to a Mark Fisher about how Jewish souls are more valuable than the souls of non-Jews, that's not because an anti-Semite had a gun to his head and forced him to say those things. Likewise, the conversation with Fisher, in which the latter tells Epstein that if he's going to breed, it must be with a Jewish girl, sounds conspiratorial, but it's real, and that's not an uncommon concern within Jewish communities. Many will claim that Epstein specifically was an ethno-supremacist, when Judaism as a whole prohibits marriage between Jews and Gentiles. In fact, Israel as a country does not permit intermarriage.
And again, all of this, if we're operating on the same rule set, is fine, right? If we were like, okay, well, we're also not going to allow this, right? But that's racist, and we're an ethno state if we do it. But of course, it's allowed there because they're different, they're special. There is a two-tiered system, right? There's the Noahide laws that we're supposed to follow, and then there's the Judaic laws that they're supposed to follow. And we are two tiers of humanity according to their worldview.
Words, Israel as a country does not permit Jews to miscegenate with non-Jews. The secular component does not detract from the fact that the national policy is no race mixing. I mention Israel because whenever you speak on this stuff, there's an immediate knee-jerk response of not all. It's not all Jews. Epstein views Gentiles as inferior, and so did his many powerful friends, but this recurring pattern isn't indicative of anything broader. And there is a sliver of truth to that. The secular 40-year-old Jewish true cell working minimum wage at Taco Bell wasn't invited to to the island. However, not all is often said to discourage pattern recognition.
Yeah, it's like when I say, damn, if you're walking by a group of youths as they're actively breaking into a Foot Locker, and I'm like, wow, somebody should stop those. And it's like, yeah, but not all youths. It's like, that's a complete non sequitur. That's not what we're talking about right now. Don't you see all these people right here? Like, we have to deal with these right now. And then somebody else is like, well, actually, there's one good one sitting over there, though. Like, he's fine. And I'm like, yeah, he's chill, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about all of these ones, like right here. Okay. You know, I think there's a meme floating around. It's hey, these guy has ants covering his body. He's like, these ants are biting me. And then the guy sitting next to him was like, not all ants.
Some people do bad things. In fact, they may even be statistically overrepresented if you look at the numbers. But it's not all members of that group, and therefore you can't make broad statements regarding groups as a whole. There's a phrase that comes to mind: not all, but always. It's not all members of a group, but it always seems to be a member of that group. It's not every single one, but there's a pattern there. Epstein himself acknowledges this pattern. In an email, he reminisces how he was at dinner with a bunch of right-wing guys, and he asked why they're so anti-Semitic. One of them stated that historically Jews have held a lot of power behind the scenes, to which Epstein asks for an example. The guy points at Epstein and everyone starts laughing. Epstein is indignant when someone says, how else do you explain how the past 3 days we've seen princes, prime ministers, other officials, emissaries, and 2 presidents? To which Epstein laughs and says, guilty. It's like a sketch from a...
So the funny thing about this is that I think that my presupposition is that everyone is racist. And noticing patterns is just natural, right? And so I don't mean everyone is racist in the fact that, like, you know, the left will use it in like kind of a gay power dynamics way, like a socialist Marxist way. Okay, I think that's gay, but I think that people are different. Okay, that's like the baseline I operate from. It's super simple. Okay, and I believe that races are different. They came out of different places. They came out of different geographies, which over time granted them different strengths and weaknesses and abilities. And if we grant that people groups are different, if we all agree with that supposition, then that means that there is some sort of hierarchy, that there is races that are better and worse at certain things, okay? And so just based off of that, I would say that nature itself is racist, that there is differences between us. All right? And it's not my personal determination that happened. God made it that way. I'm not sure why he did, but that's not my place as the clay to tell the potter what to do.
Sitcom complete with a laugh track. But the craziest thing to me is that influential ethnic sex predator Jeffrey Epstein is like, why are you guys so anti-Semitic? Jews hold a disproportionate amount of power? Source? It's insane that Jeffrey Epstein is...
And it's like, why is there any anti-Semitism? It's like, well, anytime somebody points out that you run all the banks, the media, the porn, and usury, and all the other terrible things without society that is making society worse in every noticeable way. You know, when Sex Pest gets arrested in the U.S. for pedophilia, they just flee to Israel, and Israel doesn't have an extradition treaty with the U.S. It's like all of these bad things just seem to be coming from one group of people. And again, not all of them, but it just this pattern seems to repeat itself over and over and over and over again. And I really don't like it. I think we should stop it. And if you think that's anti-Semitic, too bad, bro. You know, I don't operate that anti-Semitism is bad. I wouldn't even operate that racism would be bad. How could it be?
Whining about anti-Semitism, playing the victim and crying foul before laughing about it immediately after. It's relatively small, but something of note is the common usage of the term goyim, or goy for short. It's a Yiddish term that Jews use to refer to non-Jews. Gentile is the official term, while goy is more of a slur. The email about goyim slaving in the real world while Jews operate above it all really sums it up. It's a demeaning term used to look down on the other 99.8% of the global population.
Well, it's like I'm really anti-burn. I've just really noticed that anytime I touch something of a high temperature, it burns my hands, you know? And so I'm really anti-burning. I'm really anti-high temperature. It's just a recognition of what is, you know? I don't like that thing. I would like it to stop doing it. It's not my fault they act that way.
the mindless cogs in a machine designed to benefit the chosen few, which Epstein lays out in that same email. I'd like to reiterate that the Epstein operation was explicitly an ethnically Jewish one. Epstein is on record favoring blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girls, and to my understanding, all of the victims had been Gentiles. None of them were Jewish. And of course...
And again, within Judaism, you are allowed to rape, murder, kill, slave, goyim, non-Jews. That is all kosher, no pun intended, within Judaism, whereas most other ethical systems, do not allow for that sort of thing, right? You have a more universal ethic, whereas Judaism has a dual system.
Another thing
they weren't. As a word...
Sorry, what?
Another thing they share with Islam.
Yes, of course.
Winning journalist and media consultant Michael Wolff said to Epstein in 2017, "It's a war between Jews and non-Jews, with Jews presently winning. It doesn't matter if you don't see the world that way. In fact, the vast majority of people..."
Yeah, it's like the person who says, "Ugh, I'm not racist. I don't see race." It's like, yeah, you know what? And when when you're at an ATM and it's dark outside, you're not looking for a Nazi behind you. You know, you're not worried about a Nazi behind you. You might be having another person that you might be worried about sneaking up behind you and assaulting you, raping you, stealing from you, murdering you, whatever it might be. But it's not a Nazi, right? That's not the person pictured in your mind. You know, when you're late at night walking home and there's a man shumbling towards you, okay? Is it the 70-year-old Asian dude who's, you know, never committed a crime in his life, never even sped in his life because he's not a particularly good driver? Or is it, you know, the usual suspects?
Still think that Jews are white. Well, they're not. And Epstein's sex trafficking was an ethnic attack specifically targeting the...
Oh yeah, I love all the cope that Epstein was a white guy. When he's very explicitly, I hate the Goyim, I am a Jew. I hate the Goyim, I am a Jew. And everybody's like, look, see, he's white. Like, what are you talking about, you retard?
Children of non-Jews. The term they use for Gentile women is shiksa, derived of the Hebrew word sheketz, which means abomination and impure. In other words, they consider women of all other races to be whores. But this is nothing new. There's a long history of Jews sexualizing and demeaning shiksas. A 2021 article from The Guardian details the prevalence of pairing shiksas of Jews in Hollywood films, as well as the fact that burlesque shows starred Gentile...
Ew, yuck. Sorry, what a gross picture of women. Women, quote unquote. Ugh.
Prevalence of pairing shiksas of Jews in Hollywood films, as well as the fact that burlesque shows starred Gentiles rather than Jewish women, as the latter were thought of as pure, as opposed to the whorish, unclean shiksa. This article was, of course, written by a Jewish woman, who celebrates the Jewish domination of Hollywood, which from its inception was always Semitic. On a similar note, pornography as a whole is the industry of whoring out and degrading.
Yeah, and this is the thing that, this is the thing that a lot of conservative Zionist Christians, which has to be dealt with and does have to be destroyed. Zionism within Christianity, we do have to get rid of that. That is a modern heresy springing up from the late 19th century, right? Late 1800s. So we do absolutely need to corner that and destroy that. And this is one of the strongest arguments against that. Because you need to be able to use conservative Christian, boomer Christians' morality against them. Okay, so simply explaining to them that all pornography is Jewish, because conservative Christians will tell you that pornography is bad and you should not consume it. And so you need to explain to them that all of the owners of all of the major porn sites, industries, websites, apps, whatever it might be, are all Jewish. All of them. And it is designed as a weapon of war to demoralize a Goyish population, okay? They will stream porn into the West Bank and into their enemies as a tool of demoralization. Porn is a weapon of war against the Gentile mind, all right? And so you need to use this as a polemic against Christian Zionists and just continue to point out that Jews own all of the porn, because they do. It's verifiable. OnlyFans, owned by a rabbi.
I don't see
Pornhub,
OnlyFans on there, but it is.
It is owned by a rabbi. Pornhub, owned by a rabbi. These are kosher according to Judaic principles, because again, they do not view you as equal. They will use your women as slabs of meat, as tools for propaganda, as whores because they're impure from birth, right? They'll do whatever they want to demoralize you, to miscegenate you, to ruin your bloodline, to do all of these things, right? It is a weapon of war, a tool against you.
Rating Shiksa, with the vast majority.
See, this is the thing, though. I don't know, like, what is somebody supposed to say? It's like these people are Jewish. They are Jewish. They run the porn industry. All of it. Does that mean everyone involved in the porn industry is Jewish? No, of course not. There's whites and blacks and other people involved, I'm sure, at different levels. But at the top level, at the highest level of everything, banking, finance, porn, media, Hollywood, all of these things, Jewish. It just is, right? And that's the thing. Somebody says that's anti-Semitic to point out. And if at any point reality itself becomes anti-Semitic, then I just grant you your position. Yes, reality is anti-Semitic, but I disagree with your presupposition that that's bad, right? Because if you're operating from the presupposition that calling out a Jew for anything they do is bad, I just disagree with that presupposition. And if you call it anti-Semitism, I'm fine with that. But I would say that anti-Semitism then is a moral good, right? Because if anti-Semitism is calling out bad behavior, I say, okay, let's call it anti-Semitism, but I think calling out bad behavior is a moral good. So now, congratulations, you have made the argument that anti-Semitism is now a moral good and should be thrust upon the people.
Of the porn industry having ties to Jews. Al Goldstein, founder of the pornographic magazine Screw, which is described as a pioneer in bringing hardcore pornography into the American mainstream during the late 60s and early 70s, infamously stated that Jews are overrepresented in the porn industry because, quote, we think that Christ sucks, Catholicism sucks, we don't believe in authoritarianism, and pornography is a way of defiling Christian culture. You'll note that in this
Yes, defiling Christian culture, defiling their people. That's what it is. It is a weapon of war. It's a tool of demoralization. And also, I just want to say, while we're talking about them hating Christ and hating Christians, they also fear Christians. That is the one thing that they have sought to tear down, destroy, and infiltrate the most, which is why they have the Christian Zionist movement within the evangelicals, why the Vatican Bank is a Rothschild-owned institution, is because they seek to have some level of control over these people. Why did the atheistic Jewish Bolsheviks kill 30 million Christians, Orthodox Christians in Russia? Why are they currently sacrificing Orthodox Christians in Ukraine and Russia right now? It's because they hate them and they need them gone. They hate Christ, they reject Christ, and they hate Christians the most.
Statement, it's acknowledged that porn is a subversive weapon against Christians, and relative goyim as a whole. This isn't exactly a secret, however, considering how in 2002, in a conflict with Palestine, Israel broadcasted pornography for West Bank TV stations as they occupied the area.
Now, Multicam Alpine says, remember, porn became started in the late 1960s after obscenity laws were undone by Jews. Yes, the Hays Code, which was Catholics, enforced purity laws on media. So you could not show nudity in media in movies until the Hays Code was undone. And the first film to feature nudity, I think it was a black woman and a Jewish man in I forget the name of the film, but it is that was the first time you had full frontal nudity in a film, and it's a Jewish man after the repealing of the Hays Code, Jewish man and a black woman.
Subject of Israel, it's also worth noting, of course, the vast amounts of human trafficking and the prostitution of Gentile women from Russia, Ukraine, the Baltic states, South Africa, and the Dominican Republic. In 1998, it was noted that more than 95% of the women deported from Israel for illegal prostitution were repatriated to the former Soviet Union, with a professor from Hebrew University in Israel estimating that 70% of women working in prostitution were from Russia and other.
Again, Jewish women are off limits. They should be, at least according to Judaism, though they don't always follow their own rules. Of course, it's a game about not following your own rules with these people. But they will import Eastern European women to be their whores, to be their sex toys, to be their pieces. And then when they're done with them, they will throw them away. Because again, they have no intrinsic value. They are animals to them. They are merely a child's plaything.
former Soviet republics. Considering how these women didn't even speak the language, I think you can imagine how they got there and how they were treated. As with all of this, it was ethnically motivated sex slavery. To reiterate what Wolf said in 2017, it's a war between Jews and non-Jews, Jews presently winning. Now, of course, not all Jews, but it's enough Jews to notice some patterns. People always want to blame the Zionists or the Frankists or the Canaanites, but you'll notice that it's never a Gentile. When Epstein mocks one of his victims for saying that Jesus is watching over her, to which his friend replies that Epstein should dress as Jesus when he sees her, remember what Goldstein...
Yeah, see, it's that sort of thing that physically enrages me, right? You have a young woman saying that God, Christ will protect her, and Epstein, this horrifying monster, allowed to operate by your politicians, by the way, Mossad agent, CIA agent, whatever you want to call him, was allowed to make these jokes and exist. Again, in a just society, all of these people would be punished to the full extent of the law, right? And that's the YouTube kosher phrase there, but we all know what that means.
Said about hating Christ, alongside the fact that according to Jewish scripture, Jesus Christ is a false prophet who is burning in hell in boiling excrement.
Jewish point of view, where we don't believe in the divinity of Christ. I think that there you can make an argument that the Gospels, which were written...
And again, anytime they say Judeo-Christian values, they're just lying to you. They're trying to be a little parasite and attach them to something you view as good, because we're ostensibly a Christian nation, so they try and attach to latch onto Judeo-Christian values, and they even take top billing in that, when Judaism has nothing to do with Christianity, okay? Post-70 AD, the old system was completely done away with the burning of the Second Temple, and Judaism has nothing to do with Christianity, okay? It's even a rewriting of the Old Testament in a lot of ways through their Talmudic conversions, okay? So it has nothing to do with Christianity. It denies the divinity of Christ, the namesake of Christians, right? Judeo-Christian is a lie. It's the same thing as saying Satano-Christian, okay? It does not make any sense. It is a total misnomer, a total lie. Just reject that wholesale anytime you see that. Yeah, Phoenician Roman values, Carthaginian Roman values is what we're based upon. Delande est.
Prophet and right?
No. We don't even believe he was a prophet.
What do you think he was? What do you guys think?
What do I think he was historically? I think he was a Jew who tried to lead a revolt against the Romans and got killed for his trouble, just like a lot of other Jews at that time who were crucified for trying to lead revolts against the Roman and got killed for their trouble.
When you read the emails about gene testing and designer babies, and you see the talks of potential cannibalism, consider the fact that these people have a slur for the rest of the population, who they consider genetically and spiritually inferior. The sad thing is that very little of this is new information. Again, patterns. But it's nice to have some confirmation, like the email where Epstein discusses attending the World Jewish Congress dinner with the Rothschilds. If you were to talk about the ethnic component of the elites a month ago, you'd be discredited as a conspiratorial anti-Semite, but now you can...
And again, it's just the same thing that always happens, which is why I don't really, there's no reason to black pill. It's like being in Spain in the early 1400s. Yeah, you have 80 years until you're free, but I mean, the same thing just happens over and over and over again. And you should look up in 1492 what they did in Spain and why it also ushered in the golden age for Spain. And just coincidentally, these two events are tied hand in hand. Okay, so it's just the same thing that happens over and over and over and over, hundreds of times, you could say. And so that's why, again, why would I black pill? Like, it's just going to happen again. Like, I don't even have to do anything. That's the thing, right? I could do nothing, and it's going to happen again. Now, maybe I can do my part to play, of course, which I try to do to the best of my abilities. But again, it's just going to happen. It's just going to happen again. It just does over and over and over again. C'est la vie, right? C'est la vie. It just happens.
Can literally source Jeffrey Epstein when speaking about this stuff. I would say that this is the silver lining to the Epstein files. For the past few years, the country has been in uproar over the conflict in Gaza, and for the past year, the Trump admin was criticized for not releasing the files. A massive spotlight has been in this direction for years, only for the Epstein files to reveal that the whole operation came from a place of deep ethnic hatred. Mainstream sources have simmered down after this revelation, but what about the people? I never thought I'd see the day that normies finally came around on Pizzagate, but here we are. And while a lot of the reactions
Yeah, Pizzagate predates my time. Pizzagate, I'm not an old head. I'm not an old head. I was not politically aware at all. Like, I would say barely politically aware in like 2016, like generically aware, like generic Republican in 2016. But I wouldn't say that I got even slightly more in depth or, you know, I had any historical context until like 2020, late 2019. 2020, 21. It was like really when I started going. So even that stuff, like I wasn't for there. I'm not an old head. The people who were pushing that were doing the hard work. They were laying the foundation for everything that we're talking about now. So good on those people for being there.
2020 was a large awakening.
Yeah, for a lot of people, right? And that's why we're seeing the sort of mass awakening continue to happen. And, you know, the awakening will continue until morale improves, okay?
No doubt more so indicative of the sphere I'm in rather than the layman's opinion. I truly feel that in the wake of the Epstein files, this is the best opportunity in decades to push the Overton window. Right now, there's a lot of confusion and a lot of anger. Every day, something new comes up, like Pam Bondi supposedly redacting information from the files on account of anti-Semitism. There's a lot of outrage, but...
What do you mean by that? It's like, we can't release the files or else people will become anti-Semitic. And it's like... Yeah, you know what that means, right? Is that lots of Jews doing bad things, and if you released it, people would be upset at them. All right.
Nowhere for it to go. And so this is the best opportunity in decades to provide answers for certain questions.
Yeah, we had opposite ends of the spectrum of Volpa. That's funny.
All of that said, this brings us to the question of why now? For that matter, why release the stuff at all? Some will argue that the government had to release the files, but they overshot that deadline by 40 days, and realistically, they could have just destroyed them, which I assume has already been done to the damning things everyone wants to see. Well, if you consider the timeline, this file drop came at the end of January, and about a week later, the biggest sporting event of the year happened. I think the intention was demoralization. You see normies chimping over the files, and you think, oh man, is something finally happening? And then a week later, you see 100 times that amount of people going wild over goy ball, and it's like, never mind. It really is.
Yeah, it's like, nobody really cares is the problem, right? You might see a tweet go viral and it has 100,000 likes and 10 million views. That's crazy. What's going to happen? Nothing. And they're going to flaunt it in your face, goy, okay? They're going to show you what they did, and then they're going to say, but we're not going to prosecute anyone. Oops, too bad. It's too late. They're going to rub it in your face is what they're going to do, right? And it is a demoralization tactic. It's distraction. It's all of the above, right? It might also be in some way a pressure release valve. You know, if we release enough bad info, you know, maybe they'll kind of like be satisfied and it won't lead to more bad things later on in the future, or so they believe, but we'll see.
Is just bread and circuses. Supposedly in Brazil, a few years ago, 81% of the population was watching the World Cup. That's 173 million people. 173 million people could do a lot of things, including radically change the government and system they live in. Well, they didn't do that. They all went back to their crime-infested favelas, and nothing ever happened. The Super Bowl is essentially our equivalent. Supposedly, the viewership peaked at around 138 million viewers. That's about 40% of the country, and it's a reality check that the masses are still very much asleep. Again, I think the timing was very much intentional. They dropped the files and gave the noticers a sliver of hope right before the biggest sporting event of the year hijacked the discourse. And now the normies have moved on to arguing about how gay the halftime show was, or how the Turning Point alternative was cringe, rather than...
Oh, dude, yeah. That's the thing, though. Normies being concerned with a halftime show as black millionaires play for Jewish billionaires, as another Jewish organization counter protests or counter signals them. It's like, can we not? Do we have to do this? Do we, like, this is slop, okay? This is slop. Can we not have this anymore? Can we be done with this? Which is why I get people like sports and it's part of their culture, and it's like they grew up with it and they have fond memories, you know, hanging out with their family or their dads or their brothers playing and watching and whatnot. But like in modern 2026, if you're getting worked up over a football game, like, I might need to kill you, you know, at some point in the future. I just might need to take you out. That's all.
I got to agree with Tom Foe. I believe it was he that said it. The circuses are boring and the bread is stale.
Yeah, and I mean, especially once you understand what's going on behind the scenes and what it's all used for, and every commercial break is some interracial, man retarded, woman good, yeehaw, pro immigration, Jew bad, or Jew good, sorry, Freudian slip there. Take this drug for your fatness or something, and that's it. That's it.
The ethnic hatred motivating the blackmail child abuse operation they've whined about for years. And even then, the reason I call the files a diversion is because they distract from immediate issues that will affect your daily life, like Virginia's brand new governor Abigail Spanberger, who upon taking the role immediately put in a bill to remove the minimum sentencing for felonies such as manslaughter, rape, and child sex crimes. They're also putting in a bill on account of first-generation Bangladeshi immigrant Saddam Aslam Salim, who's a senator, to ban so-called assault weapons, which is defined as center-fire semi-automatics, which comprises of most guns.
Revolver chads, BTFOing auto cucks yet again. All right, this guy is very, very Reddit pilled when it comes to firearm choices. He's memeing, obviously, but that's funny. Yeah, anytime this guy is telling Americans what they can and can't do, I think I'm not interested in continuing the system, right? It's like, I think we've gone too far. We've gone a little too close to the sun. This guy looks burned. I'm done. I don't feel like allowing this man to tell me what I can and can't do. Thanks though, bro.
Weapons, which is defined as center-fire semi-automatics, which comprises of most guns. We're also putting in a bill discriminating against white men in government contracting, where women and minorities are favored in contracts under 100K because fuck you, white man, quote Abigail Spanberger, who's Jewish and not white. Now, to be fair, Spanberger's opposition was a female Jamaican anti-Trumper, first-generation immigrant Republican named
This is the best part that the Republicans can offer as a contemporary. This is the best we can offer. It's like, what party am I supposed to vote for? Neither party. They're both gay, right? It's like this one because we got heckin' black-based immigrant women. I don't think either of those three things should be allowed to vote. What are we talking about?
Some Earl Sears, so that's modern politics for you. It's worth noting that the prior governor, Glenn Youngkin, was a Republican who won on trans issues after a boy in a skirt raped a girl in a school bathroom. Why the GOP decided to follow him up with an anti-Trump black female immigrant, I have no idea. But the point is that focusing on...
Yeah, thanks, Virginia. Thanks for that one. Bold move, Cotton. Well, so that literally is like shooting yourself in the face as your opening move. There's some meme floating around of the USA shooting itself with a shotgun, Cobain style, and being like, "Take that, China." Yeah, not a great move. Not a great opener.
On big picture shit like Epstein distracts from local issues with major consequences like Spanberger and her Indian cohort who immediately began raping Virginia. As stated, I want the files released. Really, I think everyone does. But in the very likely event that we'll never get what people...
Well, see, and this is the thing with too many choices. He will be fine with things and he'll be like cool and whatnot until you go against anything having to do with his people. And it's like, yeah, of course, you take care of your own people.
Are looking for, which is names, evidence, and heads rolling.
And I just do the same. That's all.
The biggest takeaway from all this is the ethnic angle. In conclusion, I'd like to take a look at a certain ad from the Super Bowl, namely the Blue Square Alliance ad, an organization dedicated to standing up to Jewish hate. In this ad, a meek Semitic manlet is ruthlessly terrorized by two 90s sitcom characters, as in they put a stick...
Bring back bullying, okay? We need to bully gay kids to make them ungay. We need to call them gay and retarded. And I mean gay is the worst homophobic slur imaginable, okay?
Note on his backpack it reads Dirty Jew, which gets the attention of everyone within a mile radius, causing his diverse classmates, mostly female, to point and laugh. He reaches his locker, sees the note, and right as the Showa flashbacks begin, a mystery meat mulatto comes up and says not to listen to that.
Yes, but if you look at it, and if only white folk voted, it would solve a lot of problems here, you hear me? So I'm just saying it would be best for the country if we removed the voting rights from quite a large swath of the population, and not just the women. You hear me?
as he knows how it feels. Presumably, he too can relate.
Well, but he's Jewish, so his mom wouldn't have an OnlyFans, right? Because OnlyFans is for white women, black women. Ew.
To the Jewish experience. This is where the ad ends, but the original version goes on a bit longer, wherein the heroic black guy is like, "She, little what's your name, cuh?" To which the harmless, nebbish Jew replies, "Me? They, my name is Israel Child Rapestein." $15 million, by the way. But can you really put a price tag on a brainwashing of a goyim? It's peak propaganda, where if a white man ridicules the Jew, as other ethnic groups watch.
And again, it's like, objectively, I could fix the country with like 2 moves, okay? Restricted suffrage, no more universal suffrage, 2 amendments are gone, and you'll be like, but that's racist, but that's sexist. And I'm like, yes, correct. And we'll fix the country. Thank you. Thank you for your attention to this matter. I don't care.
Only for the savior to be a diverse man of unknown ethnic origins. He's black, though. There's so much to take away from this. It reminds me of the famous quote.
I keep dropping the link in the chat for everybody because you should go over there, grab the guy's channel, press the subscribe button, make sure you follow him on all socials. I've dropped it in the chat about 10 times, so you should go find it right now. Do it.
That America is a melting pot. Specifically, it reminds me of the quote's origin. A British Jew named Israel Zangwill, a close friend of Theodore Hearst, who is...
Okay, dude, this guy, Israel Zangwill, this monkey-looking dude is the place where the term melting pot came from, and I'm pretty sure his face came from a melting pot because he is one of the most dysgenic, hideous creatures that this world has ever created. Gah!
Named Israel Zangwill, a close friend of Theodore Hearst, who is the father of the Zionist movement. The quote comes from a play that Zangwill wrote about a Russian Jew who pursues a beautiful young Christian woman, something Zangwill never did, as he had children with a Jewish woman named Edith Ayrton. He also never moved to America, yet he was happy to talk about how the true American is a fusion of all races, perhaps.
Of course, because it's propaganda. The idea that America is a melting pot, not for Jewish people, but for the goys, is from this guy. This guy's telling me what America is, who never lived here. Huh. Yeah, maybe I just don't believe you. Melting pot was a lie. Up until 1965, like, we didn't even allow immigration from some of these countries, and we were better for it. 1791, only white men of good character could immigrate. Melting pot's a complete lie.
Perhaps resembling the Ubermenschen Gigamut who we see defending the Jew in the ad. Really, the least surprising thing here is that the golem in the ad is black, at least partially. There's a long history of Jews trying to ingratiate themselves within the black community. After all, in the words of renowned comedian, producer, political commentator, and television host John Stewart Leibowitz,
the Jewish community and the black community, we should be together. Jews and blacks we shouldn't fight, but there shouldn't be tension. Jews and blacks should get together and get whitey. I think.
Funny considering that, listen, I feel bad for Africans, okay? Because their future is white, Chinese, or Jewish. Take your pick, okay? There is no free Africa. I apologize to you. It's more like choose your own adventure, maybe choose your own massa, okay? But yeah, Mr. Leibowitz here, which funny enough, that name is on some slave ships back in the day, saying, "Wow, those white people, we gotta get those, don't we? We gotta get those whitey."
The last time that the blacks and the Jews got together was, well, yeah.
Have a shindig on my boat. We're going on a little trip.
I will say this about black people.
The original island people.
Black people should hate white people.
Yeah, and he says us, we, as in white people, when he knows that he's not white. And he's only white when he wants to denigrate white people. When he wants to talk about anything that he has done, he's Jewish, right? Bad things, white, I'm white, just like you, fellow white person. Bad, 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 evil, evil, evil. When he's talking about anything good or accomplishments, wow, us Jewish people, us, we're so poor, we're so oppressed, you know? We've been hated throughout history for no reason at all, by the way. And it's just, wow, it's just us Jewish people. Crazy.
I'm glad that they're trying at least to be nice to us, but we really fucked them over almost at every turn. Jews and blacks fighting each other. That's so fucking stupid. Jews and blacks should get together and get white.
How do we turn blacks against Jews? We don't. Once the propaganda stops, once the money runs out, like, things just go the way they always go.
You'll note that Leibowitz is trying to form a sense of kinship between the two aggrieved races, just as we see in the Super Bowl ad. Of course, this is a false pretense. Blacks also fit under the category of goy, and they even have their own slur in Yiddish, which is Schwarze. So, as you may imagine...
Schwarze. Sounds German. Schwarze.
Yeah.
Get over here, my Schwarze. Dude, I'm going to start calling black people Schwarze, seeing if they get it. All right, Schwarze.
The relations between blacks and Jews are often tenuous.
Yes, Leo Frank famously raped a white girl, blamed it on a black guy, went to the KKK saying, y'all, you guys got to go get that black man. He raped your girl. And then the Ku Klux Klan was like, Mr. Frank, we're about to hang you for the crime of raping one of us. Get away from that. That N-wad didn't do nothing. It was actually you, Mr. Circle Man, and we're going to get rid of you.
At best. The Super Bowl ad was generally received poorly. It has an abysmal ratio on YouTube and the comments are turned off. You may think it's absurd to put this out right after the Epstein files dropped, but remember that Epstein himself cried anti-Semitism after a lifetime of ethnic hatred against the Goyim and abusing their children, only to laugh about it a moment later. I've said it a few times now, but so long as we remain in an info war, the ethnic component is the single most important takeaway from the files. This is one of the very few opportunities we've been allowed since the end of World War II. And so, despite my better judgment, I'm a bit hopeful that maybe, just maybe, one day the Goyim will know. Either way, see you next time.
And again, this is Spree Snooter over on YouTube. You guys need to hop over there and subscribe. I am spamming the link in YouTube chat, in Rumble chat. Go over, subscribe, hit the like button, tell them I sent you. All right? Good video. It's good to support like-minded creators on a platform that hates us. Because, listen, we're all goys in this together, okay? We're all goys in this together. And it's important to remember that they're not like you. You don't understand them. They don't view you as equal. They view you as something else entirely, okay? It's not racist to point out their double standard. Or even if it is racist, so be it. Cool. Chud for 2 says, vote Gassy. Tito and Miku will be easier to add later. Actually, let me check. Miku is winning with 39% of the poll. I am ending it there. Chud has been defeated. Miku is being added to the emotes. I'll add Tito too, because it's funny. Hilter Lover 1488 for 2 says, I stand with Chud. Hashtag Gassy emote. Too bad, dude. You guys were winning early on, but it turned out that you couldn't defeat the Miku Beam. Miku Beam defeated. Defeated the Gassy. Deer Hunter for 10 says, good night, guys. Good night, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember, Christ is King. Christ is King, Deer Hunter. Thank you very much. Hope you have a great weekend. All right, let me make sure I'm caught up on Ko-Fi. Drain Pipe for 10 says, maybe old was right. Old was right. Whatever you mean by that. Should really let that dude cook. See what you did there. Thank you for the 10, Drain Pipe. Appreciate it, sir. Subartic Psycho for 10 says, love you, John. Love all you guys. No homo. Christ is King. By the way, what's the ETA on my upper? 2 to 3 weeks. So if yours is in the next batch, it should all be going out on Monday, because I think I have 3 or 4 uppers going out on Monday. So if yours is within that time frame, it should be gone by that time, like shipped to you. But thank you, Subartic Psycho. Appreciate you. Christ is King. Chud says, add Tito, but not Gassy. The chargebacks are coming. See, that's why. A Gassy would charge back. Very Semitic behavior from a Chud. Just saying, Chud. Very Semitic behavior there. All right, Richard. What do you got going on? What do you want to shout out before we get out of here?
Well, I've been doing the occasional stream. Hopefully going to be doing more Fireside Friday chats. If you guys would, go over and subscribe. It really helps me out. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to go out and do some more shooting again. Hopefully going to get up with Chestricker again, since we got screwed last week because of the snow. I do want to point out, though, I'm sure he would never tell anybody, but his lead and steel red dot froze up. Like the
died or
first
what?
half, the windage and elevation adjustment turrets were
Stopped
frozen.
working.
They were seized because it went from warm to cold to warm, back to cold, and it freezed everything up. His mags were freezing in the gun, but he could not get the adjustment screws to break loose for a good minute.
Nice. Glad to hear it. I love to hear the success of lead and steel. What is good about this up? Nothing. All right. Anything else, Richard?
Nope, that's it.
Okay, perfect. I dropped the link for Richard's channel in the Rumble, in the YouTube chat. Go subscribe to Richard's Headspace. Thank you very much to everyone for hanging out, the support, the streams. I'm glad to have one of these streams where we can help another small creator, hopefully bump him up to roughly 1,000 subs. That'd be super cool. If you guys want to go check him out, I will drop his link one more time because, again, it's a good video. It's a good channel. Support the bros. Support the fellow chuds, if you will. But talking about that, all right, it's the weekend, but just because it's the weekend doesn't mean we shouldn't get some stuff done. So let's work on some self-improvement. Let's get our dry fire in. Let's get, at least try to have a decent diet. Try not to drink too much, okay, even though half of you are probably drunk watching this right now. But get some workouts in, get some dry fire, go on a walk, enjoy life, read a book. But always remember, no matter how dark things get, you got bros. Maybe no hoes, but you got bros, okay? And Christ is always king. Christ wins in the end. Death has already been defeated. We got Easter coming up. It's going to be a great time. And it's the best time possible to be alive. Why? Because you were ordained for this time, okay? Before the foundations of the earth were laid, you and I were ordained for this moment in time. So what are we supposed to do? Whine and cry about it? No, we're supposed to go out there and crush it to the best of our ability. So with all of that out of the way, gentlemen, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. God bless. Godspeed. Christ is...
We're occupied by Zog.